Ladies and gentlemen, everyone knows that legal meth solves everything.
Oh,
That's all we're saying. That's it. It's why we're here today. We're here to advocate for meth legalization. No, we're not! Oh, RJ's here!
And that's when RJ comes in.
I know a lot of people.
That's when RJ comes in.
We summoned him.
Oh shit, all the cameras exploded when RJ came in.
I love it.
Hi, RJ!
Absolutely.
We are live.
We've been live.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. It's ladies and gentlemen, you know, I never got the hang of Wednesdays, and it's just sticking with me. So thank you all for joining us. We are going to play some D&D tonight. We want to make sure that everyone has a good time and is well and good entertained. Everyone here has real lives, real jobs, and make real sacrifices to be here. And I fucking appreciate every single one of you people so much. And I'm literally stalling while I fix all the cameras. I'm doing this so well. I am so good at this.
Fucking grandpa, so he's gonna be a grumpy bitch tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Rome's like, I had a shitty day. Grandpa's a fucking asshole.
Rome is literally. Listen, I just want to see. Listen, I just
You
want
don't
to see
even need
this.
to add an adjective or.
He's literally.
Rome is literally covers most shit. Like that's you're safe to stop right there.
I just want to see the Jufro once. Just once in my life.
I mean, I can find pictures probably somewhere.
Please.
Oh my goodness.
Goes a
My
little low.
hair grows in. It's deeper.
No wonder we get along so well. My shit does the same fucking
Yeah,
thing.
kind of like RJ. It's thicker.
RJ, do you have a good day?
You can see it on his face.
Yeah. He got to make a vacation.
I'm alive. I'm here. I'm on vacation officially.
Yeah, so there's a
Yeah,
good
you
thing.
Be at my house in 2 days, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How long are you guys gonna hang out?
It's coming up for the weekend because it's my birthday.
Oh my god,
Oh,
it's,
nice.
it's Rome's fucking birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Frank's birthday, and we're not
Yay,
going to be
fucking
able
well,
to
Saturday.
Happy
Saturday's,
early birthday.
but we're not going to be there to celebrate with him. So you know what that means, motherfucker. We're going to sing.
I swear to God, if you
Oh,
start singing, I'm taking my headset off.
Wait, no.
Wait, you have
no.
to sing too.
Okay.
Like, you've been warned. If you start singing, I have only been awake for 3 fucking minutes, so my headset's coming off.
Well, RJ will be back soon.
RJ will be back in a
RJ will be right
minute. Because we are singing,
We gotta
goddammit.
harmonize.
I can't
gotta
harmonize. I can
harmonize.
barely sing.
Oh, God.
All right.
Can I smile and turn my volume down?
Can I smile and turn my volume down?
Like, I'll just nod. and
No,
smile.
you have to sit there and grin and bear it because we love you, and that's the
Be
penalty for
embarrassed.
being loved.
Be embarrassed by our
Let
love.
us love you.
And while we sing, I'm
You
fixing
don't know
another
me
set
very
of
well,
windows.
sir.
On three, everybody. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rome / Frank.
Nobody knew what to say.
Happy birthday to you. And we are now banned in 49 states from ever singing that song again. I was laughing so hard I was
well, thank
having
you.
trouble fixing cameras.
RJ lied.
Fantastic.
RJ lied. He stayed.
Oh, no, he pulled his
Just
headset
came
off.
back.
Yeah, he pulled his headphones off as soon as he started.
It is far too early for y'all to be chipper.
I don't
I mean,
think
he
that they
basically
get-
had
I
a
don't think they
vacation
have
day at
another
work
setting.
today, too.
No. I don't.
Well, let's just say that the grumpiness of Groundbach has turned the fuck up this morning, so...
All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We had to do that because it's not every day that you get to celebrate someone's birthday, and it's not every day you get to do it on the internet in some of the most loudest, most obnoxious ways possible. So,
Yes.
Frank, I hope you have a fucking amazing birthday weekend. RJ, I hope you have a safe trip up. I hope you guys drink way too much, but no one gets hangovers.
Or smoke way too much.
Or smoke way too much. Either way.
Well, it should
What-
make an interesting West Haven because he'll be up here for that as well.
Oh, yeah, Sunday night. Speaking of West Haven, and speaking of my amazing creators that I have on here with me every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on our Twitch channel, you can find us. Ooh.
Yeah, Rome, you get to talk this time.
I do what now?
Oh,
You get to do our spiel because I'm
he's
I
checking
can't
out
believe
three
it.
the
words
break.
out of me.
Still walking.
That's it.
Yeah,
And
we're
so, because
obliviously adventurous for a reason.
and because it is Roan's birthday, you guys get the special present of going first.
Wow.
So one of the ways that I found some people for this show was I stumbled onto Frank and his show Obliviously Adventurous, their show Obliviously Adventurous,
And I
on
apologize
Facebook.
a lot.
Yep. And I
sorry.
started grilling them about a video game they were playing, and next thing you know, I joined their Discord server, and next thing you know, I went out and bought a game that I barely even play anymore. Thanks, Frank.
But are you still subscribed to it? Is the question.
I prepaid for it for a year.
I haven't played it, and I am monthly and still paying for it.
Yeah,
But
there's a big ass ship that's just waiting to be finished.
I
They actually
know, we
posted
had so
an
much cool
update,
shit
so
going
I
on.
might have to go look again and see if they fixed
Yeah.
all the shit they broke before the CEO walked away and didn't say damn word.
Oh my god, no. Alright. So, as we said, it's Frank's birthday, and in honor of that, since RJ dumped him, I'm gonna do their intro.
RJ is literally shrouded in darkness.
I know, he's like hiding in the shadows. He's like, fuck this, I'm not here.
When did you dual class as rogue, man?
He's the ultimate.
I mean,
rogue
I
of the
have a
rogue heavy
ninja
armor.
gnome rolled if you want me to drag him in.
Ninja gnome.
Oh, Ninja Gnome.
Ninja
That
gnomes.
sounds amazing.
Straight up.
I'm here for it.
I've dubbed his little character title is the Ninja Gnome because I haven't named him yet. But yeah, he is a sneaky thief in the night. He's not somebody that you want to come across.
Well, no
I
gnome
love
ever
him for
is. But
Gnomes is.
Obliviously Adventurous is RJ and Rome's channel that they have on Facebook. They actually do video games during the week, both during the day and in the evening. Because I know you and RJ have been going on a lot in the evenings.
Yep.
And they play various video games. It basically kind of is whatever they floats their boat that day. And then on Sunday nights, they have West Haven, which is their ongoing D&D campaign run by DM Panda, where their entire premise is how much can Panda cry in one 3-hour period.
Oh boy.
So, if
Accurate.
you want to watch a grown man cry, there you go.
The DM.
Now
the
I
DM
kind
at
of want to
that.
watch a grown man.
Yeah,
cry.
specify this to the DM.
It is the DM.
He is the DM, and we fuck his plans every. I love him. Like he recovers exceptionally well, and he rolls with shit exceptionally well.
Oh God, he does.
But you can see his face when we crush his dreams for a minute, and it's the most
And
amazing thing.
he's a phenomenal storyteller. I mean,
Fuck yeah.
That's the worst part.
The story of West Haven is absolutely phenomenal,
Mhm.
considering the fact that it's his first time running a campaign.
Yep. And
Uh,
it is. I don't get to catch every single game because they're on the West Coast. They play late on Sundays, but and it's not just his storytelling that's phenomenal. He does a really good job of creating characters that are incredibly memorable. So when he makes a bad guy, you fucking hate him, and when he makes an NPC, you fucking fall in love with him.
Depends on the NPC because I hate quite a few of them.
So anyway, catch them out on Sunday nights for West Haven. Monday through Friday, it's kind of almost random, isn't it? Ron?
Variety. I mean, currently it's Cyberpunk Fantasy or Phantasy Star Online 2, Wildlands with RJ, and Thursdays are Wildfire. Until Killing 4 Thursday night with another streamer. Like it's It's variety across the board.
Gotcha.
RJ just being a void right now when
I
he
know.
tackles like that.
Void.
RJ's
Absolutely.
embodying his grumpy. So yes, so that is Oblivious Adventurous. Go give them a follow. Remember, small streamers. Every single like, every single follow is gold to us. It is not only affirmation that what we're doing matters to somebody else, but it's also a way that, for statistics, we get metrics off of it. And that helps the algorithm show us to more people. So if you can, go give them a follow. It hurts nothing on your end. Nothing is reduced on your end. You don't have to worry about anything. The notifications are not even noticeable. And you will be doing an amazing thing for a creator.
Wait, our notifications are noticeable? Well, then we're doing fucking something wrong.
No, it's just because they're Facebook notifications, so they just scroll by with the billions of other ones you get. Yeah.
But we are live right now. Then we co-stream this just as a heads up to y'all.
Yep. Also, we have Rob with us. Now, Rob has not existed on the internet for a long time, but he has recently taken the plunge and created a TikTok. You can find Rob's TikTok here. It is empty and doesn't even have a screenshot yet. But Rob, I do believe you're going to be doing some cosplay content.
Yes, and I'm also writing like a script for my first sort of like TikTok, because I can't do anything without a script because I am so terrified about things that I put on the internet.
And yet I watch you here and I watch you on Fridays do incredible improvisation with no script whatsoever.
I do like
King!
it. Thank you, Ray.
King shit.
So go catch Rob on TikTok and give him a follow. He's when he gets creating, it's going to be good. Just watch him tonight and you'll find out why.
Thank you so much, Ray.
No problem. And also, do not forget the man, the myth, the legend, Sphinx Akasha.
Woo!
He is a creator on multiple platforms.
I think you got a typo in your.
Oh, did I? Because I always do that.
Fix.
Fix.
I mean, I guess I could have fixed it for you.
No, I just missed the N. So anyway, yes, Sphinx is the creator of multiple platforms. He has a TikTok account. He has Instagram. Do you do Facebook too, or do you not have a Facebook page for your show?
I do have Facebook, but it's not a public Facebook page. I do have a Facebook page for my podcast / streaming show, Agents of the Circle, which I will be putting in my link tree at some point.
Gotcha. And that show is not just a podcast anymore, is it?
It is not. As of 2 weeks ago, it became a streaming show as well for the first time, which was a lot of fun. It's on the ADH Adventures Twitch channel, along with some other fantastic shows, Unlicensed Magic, which I have just joined their spin-off, Unlicensed Magic Dual City, and that's a lot of fun. But yeah, we brought Agents of the Circle to stream. We kicked off our fourth season streaming live, so that's exciting. And yeah, we stream again on this coming Friday in 2 days.
Absolutely. And if you want to go catch any of their past podcasts, that is in your link tree, correct?
That's correct. Yes,
Yes,
the link to my SoundCloud is on the link tree, but you can also find us on Spotify, iTunes, Last.fm, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you get your podcast digitally.
What do they say? Anywhere you get quality podcasts?
Pretty much, yeah.
So one quick thing about that. How many episodes do you usually do a season?
It varies.
Is there an average?
On average, anywhere between 20 and 15, anywhere between 15 and 20, because we just started season 3 and that was episode 56 altogether. So
there you go. And so if you guys want some listening ammo for those long days at work sitting at the desk, there you go right there. You can catch up. And since they're only going to be 2 episodes into the new season, you've got a time to catch up and then get caught up on the new videos. So
exactly.
You'll be good to go. And finally, not least, just last because we went backwards and she was on the opposite end of the order tonight. We have Milagros. Milagros has just recently started streaming herself. Would you care to give us the details?
Yes. So hi guys, my name is Milagros, otherwise known as Fountain Pen Femme, and I am finally sharing some writerly content. I'm so excited, especially because I started streaming at a perfect time to show like all the stages of my process, because I'm about to finish filling this notebook, and I will be streaming the process of digitizing it, showing people how I organize notes, and I finished creating all the article templates for my database. So
Nice.
I will be like showing people how the program that I use called Notion works, how you can create templates in them so that you don't have to like remake the same page format over and over again, and how I organize a literal planet's worth of information for one of the 3 book series that I'm currently working on. Because now I'm building another world, and then writing
Like you
another
do.
novel. ADHD gang can't work on one project.
Gang.
So I will be bringing stuff to YouTube soon, and updating like my graphics and branding and all that. But I'm starting mostly on Twitch. So yeah, follow my Twitch channel. It's linked in my link tree. Yeah, thank
There
you.
we go. So
Sweet.
that took longer than normal because we were in a really good mood because we were all going crazy, and because we had to sing to Frank. Because you don't not sing when someone's birthday. I don't care what RJ says.
I got introduced to the.
That's fine because I'm
Birthday
actually
season.
gonna get to see him and do it in person. So the joke's on you, buddy.
Ha
No,
But
we
it's
just
not
had-
the happy birthday song when it's us. It's the birthday dirge.
birthday turd.
No,
It's
it's a
experience that
literal
shit
song.
again.
Yeah, it is a literal song sung from Vikings, and it's dark.
Oh
It's
God!
not a happy birthday song. It
Why
starts
do you
with
want a
demons
not
too.
happy birthday song
But it's a happy birthday song for us.
for us?
It's a straight Viking dirge, and we sing it. There's like 230 verses.
Oh my God!
Holy
Yeah.
moly.
We don't do all of it. Depends, but yeah, it's a thing.
All right. Well,
Is there drinking involved?
there better be for 230
Usually, I mean, it's a
verses.
birthday. That's not what causes the song. That's just us.
All right. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are here because it is Wednesday night, and Wednesday night means it is time for Kingdoms of Mist. Kingdoms of Mist is our 5e homebrew live play of Dungeons and Dragons. This is a game set in a very unique world with a very unique premise. I wanted to combine Treasure Planet with Dungeons and Dragons, and so I did. There is a bunch of planets orbiting a twin set of red dwarf stars, and this is inside a gas cloud that is actually a living entity, a living creature. So this gas cloud is intelligent, and it sought people out, brought them here, and placed them on this world in order for them to keep her company. This happened thousands of years ago, or a few thousand years ago. Since then, time has passed, things have changed, and the Mist Mother has recently, very recently, begun to lose her ability to communicate with her people. Now, the players have been exploring the world so far. They are in the capital city of Ayla, on the biggest planet in the 6-planet system, which is called Alatris. This planet is the home to the only unified planetary government in all the planets. Now, all the planets are linked together by the fact that there is the flying ships that can cruise between the planets. They have the ability through magical crystals to float, to power their locomotion, to actually have weapons, and most importantly, because it's a gas giant, but that doesn't mean there's oxygen everywhere, they have the ability to maintain an atmosphere around the ship. That way, nobody suffocates. And they maintain gravity on the decks and below decks in order to keep the crew welded to the floor, but it's not super strong. So, everyone in the Kingdoms of Mist usually hails, and stays close to their home planets. Travel is not common unless you're a sailor or a merchant or an adventurer. So tonight, as they were going through, during this campaign, as they were going through, they came into Ayla. Ayla is actually the home city for Utopia, which is Malagros' character, and Wallenstein, which is Sphinx's character. And everyone else was kind of traveling along with them as they escorted a convoy into the city itself. They escorted this convoy because the Mist Mother herself came to all of them in a dream. She instructed them to go to an inn in Restless and just go to an inn, and then things will be made clear to them. And she asked them for help. She pled with them. She said there was something coming, there was a darkness coming, and that she wanted their help in finding out how it was getting in. And they basically all went to this inn. Grampak and Sugash, Grampak is RJ's character and Sugash is Rome's character, they were already known to each other because they're brothers. And they are orcs. They were traveling themselves when the dreams overtook them, and they actually bothered to listen to them because they wouldn't go away. And so, to get some sleep, they actually decided to listen to as Grandpa likes to call her, the witch.
Wait.
And so they went to the inn as well. When they all arrived there, they could see each other because they were all shrouded in mist in their own vision. No one else seemed to notice it. And so once they got there, the mist lifted when they came together. As they sat down and began discussing things with each other, naturally they were suddenly attacked. Creatures came out of the darkness. A battle ensued. The battle was won. They basically were questioned by the guard. They were taken in for questioning, or they went to the guardhouse to answer questions and to see about questioning one of the attackers who was captured. During this incident, something else showed up. They managed to fight off the creatures of darkness that arrived after that, and then they actually got into contact with one of the devotees of the Mist Mother, a priestess who had a temple in the area. She informed them that they were chosen by the Mist Mother, and she said that they needed to go to Ayla. And she made arrangements for them to get on as guards on a caravan. They rode the caravan up to Ayla. There was a couple of incidents on the way there. One of them may have been a natural event, but the other one was definitely another attack. But this time it wasn't by any type of weird creatures of darkness. It was by, apparently, just regular raiders who were starving. They fought those raiders off. They got the caravan into the city, and quickly, Utopia went home to check in with her family. And then Sugash and Wallenstein went to go explore the city a little bit, and Aom, who is Rob's character, went with Utopia to basically just keep her company, and basically to see where Utopia came from. Which turned out to be very... What was that, Rob?
I need no other reason than to keep her company.
Yeah.
Aww.
But I was going to say, and the big thing about that is that turned out to be a big point of contention for Aom, as that ended up being something that was very disturbing. Because Utopia is a noble, and her family is friggin' loaded. So stuff that Utopia grew up with, thinking was commonplace and, happened to everybody, she quickly became apparent as she journeyed on her own that that's not the case. The steward of her house told her father wasn't home and informed her that she was no longer allowed to leave until her father came home. Utopia decided that they were going to at least stay for dinner. They went upstairs, where Aom was promptly given fresh, clean clothes to wear and made to bathe.
Oh, awful.
And was almost bathed until he absolutely refused it. And Aom was made to feel very uncomfortable as he was weighted on hand and foot and doted on and basically made to feel very nervous. The meantime, Sugash, Grampak, and Val went down and found a leather worker because in one of the encounters, Grandpa had gotten the hide of a creature called a land shark or a boule, and he wanted to see if that hide could be fashioned into some kind of armor, and the skull was big enough and thick enough to be used as a shield, and he wanted that to be done too, but they didn't have a ton of coin on them. So they went and bartered with a leatherworker they found who said he could actually make magical armor out of it. But they had to do him a favor. He had gotten in deep with a loan shark, and he needed to pay off his debt, and he knew that the loan shark had a rival who had just gotten a special shipment, a shipment that was a dragon. Now, that dragon was being kept on the docks, and the leatherworker basically told them that if they could go down there and either capture the dragon themselves and take it away, or at worst, make sure that he didn't have the dragon anymore. And he kind of left that unspecific, but, he did say that, he wanted the gentleman not to have the dragon. He said if they can make that happen, then he could use that as leverage to get the loan shark to forgive his debt. And so they agreed. They went down to the docks, and they found the warehouse. And Val put on the performance of the century at an inn across the street, distracting everyone by bringing them in as Val performed When the Bodies Hit the Floor and started Fantasy's first mosh pit.
Yes.
And so while that was happening, Sugash and Grandpa snuck into the warehouse. They found the dragon, and they discovered that the dragon had been cobbled. Its wings had been bound up with leather straps to the point that they were actually cutting into the wings themselves. And they didn't even know if the dragon could fly. They spoke to the dragon, and it's because Sugash speaks Draconic, yes?
Both do.
We both do.
Oh, both do. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot.
It's a massive point of our heritage.
Yep. So they spoke to the dragon, and they they basically decided to release it because in their heritage, the larger and the more fearsome that the prey you hunt, the more honor and glory it brings to you and your people. And so they told the dragon that they would let it go and let it heal up, and that someday they would come back to hunt it. And the dragon, not looking a gift horse in the mouth, blew out a wall of the warehouse with its electric breath, and then took off and dove into the harbor, which provided enough distraction for Sugash, Grandpa, and Val to make their way out. They came back, they found Utopia's place, and a tense situation occurred as they thought that they were going to possibly have to bust some heads to get Utopia to leave.
We kidnapped her, regardless of what he tries to tell you.
I put you over my shoulders and threw you into a carriage.
You did.
I mean, it did look, for all intents and purposes, despite my words and everyone else convincing her to leave, it did appear as if we did kidnap her.
It looked like a robbery and kidnapping.
Anyone looking money from outside.
Yeah.
You also left with a sack of platinum coins.
So the steward, realizing that it would be a massive fight and people would get hurt, which means Utopia would have the potential to get hurt, the steward decided to err on the side of caution. And he told Val that the group would be in charge of looking after Utopia, making sure that nothing would happen to her. Because Val had been talking extensively throughout this and shown himself to be at least a man of intelligence, if not
He
character.
holds the brain cell.
Yeah. Multiple brain cells.
He holds the squad's brain cell.
And so the steward gave Val 100 platinum pieces for Utopia's traveling expenses.
Yup.
Which, the party thought about retiring at that point, but they took pity on me. And so they basically, at that point, they left. They met back up with the actually, yeah.
We went from there to the summoner.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I skipped at one part. When they went back to the leatherworker to tell them the job was done, the leatherworker was having a meal with a gentleman who turned out to be the head of a crime syndicate in the city called the Emerald. There was a rival crime syndicate that was called the Ruby, that turned out to probably be the people who owned the dragon. The gentleman from the Emerald told them, I actually congratulated them on a job well done. told them that it was significant that they got out without attracting any real attention. The only reason that they knew what was happening is because, they're a crime syndicate. They know things. And so he basically talked to them, told them that he needed another job done if they would be interested in either coin or having a favor from the emerald itself. He described the job as getting some information, a series of colors, from a gentleman who was hiding out in the Wrist, which is a really rundown part of the city. And they agreed, provided they could go get their friends out. At which time, the gentleman from the Emerald let them know that he knew who all of them were, and he offered them a sizable cut if they would help him kidnap Utopia and ransom her back to her father. I don't think you guys ever really actually declined. You just never said yes.
Yeah.
We, for all intents and purposes, we kidnapped her.
Yeah.
but not for them. We
Yeah.
didn't do it for them.
Yeah, not for the Emerald, just for the group.
Just for shits and giggles, that's all.
Yeah.
The ransom may still happen. And we
Yeah,
will never return Utopia, but the ransom may still happen.
When
Yeah.
Lord Astor hears about this, he's gonna have a stroke.
I should hope so.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting time at Utopia's house for the Shores. 1 second, there you go. So we have, so after that, they went and got Utopia. The almost fight happened. They got basically 100 platinum pieces to kidnap Utopia. And they went and found the summoner. An intense fight happened. Thanks to some amazing spell work by Val, they managed to neutralize the casters. They fought down the other people there, found out how nasty firearms can be, and they managed to win out the day by driving off the guards for this gentleman and capturing him. At which time they fled to a local temple to the Mist Mother, more of a homeless shelter and a temple as well, and they were sequestering themselves inside. They got the information out of the gentleman with the guarantee and promise that they would help him flee town, because he knew for a fact that at this point he was pretty much a dead man, but he wanted at least a chance to run. So they agreed to get him to an airship and get him out of the city in the morning. But barring the day they just had, because that was all the course of one day.
It was one fucking day.
Barring the day they just had, they needed some time for downtime. So the priest who ran the chapel allowed them to spend the night inside the chapel itself. They pretty much... Did you guys... Oh, he actually locked the front doors for the first time, he said, like in the history of the chapel's opening.
Yeah.
So he locked the front doors, he had them barred, and they basically sequestered themselves inside the chapel, and they were getting ready to, they were taking a long rest, and they had posted shifts. I think Grandpa was on first watch, because he wouldn't leave the door.
Yeah.
And so
All right.
that's kind of where we left off. That was a long summation.
So we did do one other thing. Although we can say we waited until morning to do it, because that way we can get our long rest in.
Well, yeah, that's right.
We did summon the
Marcus.
Emerald dude
Oh,
at the end of the session. So
Mhm.
we'll say we waited till morning to do that so we can all get our long rest in.
Yeah, he was
I agree
outside,
with
wasn't he?
I opened the door and let him in. We basically ended with us letting him inside.
So you want to wait for
Yeah.
that to happen till morning, do a little bit of a rewind and rewrite on that?
Yes, so that we can actually get a rest in, because I know that you don't like your players to rest.
There's a
Oh my
rule.
God.
Never let them rest. It's
okay.
It's in every single GM book you'll ever read that I write it in before you get the GM book. All right.
That's fine. Just I know that now. So
All right. So you guys spend the night inside the church. You post your watches. Nothing outward happens. You get a full rest. In the morning, you can hear that there are people. Well, actually, whoever's on last watch sees people come downstairs, and they kind of like nod to you and smile. But they all start walking towards the kitchen, and in a few moments, you can hear the crackling of fire being loaded into the stove or being stoked in the stoves. You can start to smell the oil and other things being warmed up, and hear pots of water boiling. And so you can tell they're preparing to make breakfast. And
I join them because it reminds me of home.
yeah, it's just like being in the monastery where everyone pitches in for meals. Everyone is in there just chatting and talking. It's very organized. The menu is obviously provided ahead of time because everyone's already knows exactly what to do. Your help is quickly accepted. You're put on prep. You're put on cutting vegetables all day long because they don't know your skills in the kitchen, and it's safe for you to use a paring knife. There you go.
I will pull up my lute and provide some music while they make breakfast, while my fox Inari will kind of swirl in between people's legs and will accept scratches behind the ears from any who will provide them.
And maybe little pieces of bacon.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He's not doing this without a motive.
And what would you say, Grandpa?
I said you wake up far too lively, Bard.
Well, even in the face of absolute danger and mortal peril, one must at least try to have a bright outlook.
It is too early for that shit.
How late do you normally sleep, Master Orc?
Until I'm done being tired.
Fair answer. I should have saw that coming.
You know how it is. So I need 5 minutes. I think my dog is going to kill himself if he doesn't go outside soon. I don't know if you've heard him, but he's been yipping this entire time and crying. So I'm going to step away and throw him outside and hope the neighbors take him. So
Sweet.
But I'll be right back in 1 minute.
Time for an impromptu commercial.
Go for it.
You want me to go live or stay live?
Five adventurers on a quest from the Mist Mother. Adventuring throughout the mists. 2 orcs ready to slap any one of them at any given time.
Very fair.
A bard who just won't stop playing his lute. A satyr who wants to be friends with the power of his fists. And an ASMR who wants to be best friends with at least one of the orcs. Who will succeed? Find out on Kingdoms of the Mist.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have our official first clip of the night with that one.
Oh
that is
my
happening right
god.
the hell now. So I need 5 minutes. I think my dog is going to kill.
Someone will roll a d20. Someone will get slapped by an orc. Find out who on Kingdoms of Mist.
Guarantee it's AM.
Oh man, that's going up so soon. So, everyone is going about their morning preparations, I take it. Utopia, I meant to ask you this. When it comes to paladins, there are 2 different versions of the paladin. There is a paladin who is the holy knight and holy warrior, who usually has a religion or a holy order that they fight for. And then there are the paladins who literally have a code of honor or take a vow that creates a credible structure around their lives that gives them the willpower to summon these innate abilities. Mm-hmm. So, which way did Utopia go?
Oh, she's taken an oath of devotion. To basically, like, it's not exactly religious, but it's modeling after the Mist Mother's desire to protect people and bring them in and help them, because she understands that she didn't understand to the full extent because she's 19 and had never left the house. She is the this world's equivalent of Chronically Online. But she understands that her family is very powerful, that's given her an advantage and a lot of resources and privilege, and she wants to help people with it and, take care of other people with it. And that's mostly what she's kind of built her idea of self around. A lot of things are crumbling right now for her, but
Well, yeah.
she's trying.
Also, because the tenets of the Oath of Devotion, every Oath of Devotion paladin, can be different and unique. But there's basic premises that are built around with the Oath of Devotion. The first is honesty. Don't lie or cheat.
Yep.
Let your word be your promise. Next is courage. Never fear to act, though caution is wise. Compassion. Aid others. Protect the weak. And punish those who threaten them. Show mercy to your foes, but temper it with wisdom.
Yes, I have it. I pulled it up in my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, honor, treat others with fairness. Let your honorable deeds be an example of them. Do as much good as possible while causing the least amount of harm. And duty, be responsible for your actions and their consequences. Protect those entrusted to your care and obey those who have authority over you.
Yep.
That last one's been fudged a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just
You were
a
told you were
little.
never leaving home again.
Well,
How'd that work out?
We'll call it divine influence.
yeah.
What
Who
happened was-
has more authority, her dad or God?
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
I don't know. The Miss Mother doesn't exactly have 10 commandments.
But still God.
But still, God.
All right, so everyone's going. The reason I was asking that is I wanted to know if, you have any type of morning ritual that goes along with your oath. That is something that you practice, or any form of rituality that you might have.
Well, she has, she does a little bit of kind of a meditation to center herself, try to not be as chaotic. But right now, a lot of that's definitely being interrupted by the fact that there are bullet holes in her armor, and part of her ritual is taking care of her armor. So she's just kind of sitting with
She's
it,
kind of like
being
stuffing
oh my.
wads of cotton into the holes.
Yeah, she's like, oh my fucking god, what have I done?
Looking over at Am going, do you notice this? Do you notice
Yeah, she's like,
No, I can't see it, I swear.
she's like, oh no.
It adds
Maybe if you get like a
character.
tabard or something to put over it, you won't be able to see it as much.
No one will notice.
No one will notice if you have
As
it
I
over.
see her
I just
freaking
sash.
out, I'm
Was it
gonna
what?
walk over. I said, as I see her freaking out, I'm gonna walk over, touch her armor, and cast mending, and then just grunt and walk away.
Nice.
So, Sugash walks over. He begins to
Bestie, I owe you my
gesture, and he reaches out. He puts his hand on your armor, and before your eyes, the armor repairs itself. All the bullet holes knit back over, and there is no visible markings to show that the armor was damaged.
Bestie!
Nice.
It's fixed. You can stop crying.
Aw.
Thank you! See, we are besties.
He's like obsidian. He's hard on the outside and really cold now, but he was born from heat and love.
That's-
a little thing.
That is the most interesting metaphor I've heard for a person I think I've ever heard.
I think it's fitting because he cuts really good too.
I mean, yes, that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
All right, so Sugash and Grampak, both of you are clerics. We haven't talked a lot about the religions you practice. We've discussed the fact that it's mainly like ancestral worship and spirit worship. What do you guys have? You guys thought of anything that would be like? Do you have morning rituals? Stuff like that. Anything that you have to do?
We've done them before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yes, at the
Yeah.
moment. Well, because we've only had 2 days.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah. So you guys are. Would you? Would
So
it be?
to remind you, Grandpa goes and basically does a morning kata and basically sparring with himself as a way to limber up, stretch, and that is his form of praying to his ancestors and the sons that give us life.
I do it with him, just not as pretty for the most part. And the sparring doesn't last very long.
Yep.
Yeah. He typically taps out and goes and reads a book in the corner.
Rubbing whatever spot just got swapped. All right. So would you guys do that inside or out?
Outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think they want the two big guys sparring in the middle of their temple. Like, that
There
doesn't...
probably isn't enough room for it to do it except out in that big white
Throwing
hallway.
absolute
So-
hands with each other.
Are you guys fighting? Are you okay? Leave us alone. We're brothers. You wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't
Just-
get it.
Just hear a coming from the
The
hallway.
Cain instinct is kicking in.
Someone gets thrown up against the wall of the chapel, and everyone looks as this like dust showers down the wall.
One of the walls. No, it would be outside in the courtyard.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's why not inside. The freaking priest goes, "Boys, take that outside."
Outside, please.
All right. So, Aeon, you're another archetype that is usually very much set in ritual, and you actually are a follower of the Mist Mother. The Mist Mother's practices vary from sect to sect. All of them, of course, involve sacrifice. All of them involve, giving back to community, and all of them involve some kind of practice of shrouding offerings or shrouding gifts to represent the mist themselves. Do you have any thing that you do on a regular basis from your order?
Meditation is a big thing for us, as well as like a form of, you could call it similar to the katas, but more like yoga in orientation. So yeah, like stretches in the morning and just getting ready for the day very early. But then of course, if anything needs to be done, most of the members of my specific sect will help out as often as they can. And yeah.
Gotcha, no problem. And Val, does Val have any type of morning ritual?
Val will usually just kind of go off in a quiet corner, any place where he can do so, where he can at least hear his lute, and we'll just like practice scales, and we'll do like practice like a simple song to warm up his fingers. We'll do vocalises to warm up his voice. And we'll usually just like spend a little extra time like playing with Inari because he loves her.
Got you. All right. So the entire process of taking care of morning routines and getting some breakfast is probably going to take roughly about an hour. Now, these people get up incredibly early because they know they're going to have to provide for this entire household, which is, you don't know how many people are up there, but if it's if the second floor is completely used for housing and it's as big as the ground floor is, that could be like 100 people or so. And about 15 people came downstairs to prepare breakfast. So that kind of fits the idea. So once breakfast is starting to be served, you see people coming downstairs, and it's people from like all different aspects. There's the obvious people who are obviously indigent, homeless, and it's probably a complete situation that they have been for a long time. Their clothes are ragged. They're basically just doing their best to keep going. There is also people who are still like carrying bags with personal possessions, and they have their clothes are not threadbare, but they're not super worn like they've been sleeping out, in the elements or anything like that. There is also, so that people run the gambit here, and there's also the obvious ones who are, those who have issues and problems. Like there's the obvious drunks who are, feeling incredibly horrible because they just woke up and the DTs are already starting. And there's people with other issues obviously there, and you notice that the people who are just there because it's they're there because they're homeless, they're pretty much greeted, but they're left to their own devices. They're told where the breakfast serving lines are, and they're left their own thing. But everyone who comes downstairs who looks like doesn't have that deer caught in the headlights look, or doesn't have that look of I'm feeling really like shit because I'm coming down off of whatever I was on. Everyone who looks like they know what they're doing for the most part seems to find someone who needs help, pair up with them, and begin helping them start their day. Making sure they get food in them. You see a lot of people the benches begin to fill up as these people will go with this person through line, get food with them, and sit down and eat with them and talk to them. And this seems to be a very established routine, to where by the time the breakfast is almost done, which is, like I said, it takes about an hour in total, most everyone who seems to be struggling has been paired off with someone who is helping them. And you see the father who was talking to you last night. He is standing, kind of looking at you all, where you all are kind of sitting, finishing up your breakfast. And he comes walking over, and he says, I am glad that we did not suffer any unusual visitors last night. And I hope you all got rest.
Yes, thank you, Father.
It is. There is, of course, this is a place of shelter. You are welcome to stay as long as you need to stay. He says, however, we should discuss, if you're going to continue to stay longer, we should discuss the gentleman in your care and your intentions towards him. And we should discuss the possible dangers you bring to this place so we can at least be aware.
Well, our hope is that we won't be staying very long. We've agreed to help this gentleman to leave town, and hopefully we will be vacating your building soon. And then I turn to the rest of the group. How do we want to go about this?
Well, he needs passage on a skyship as soon as possible.
Right.
And we definitely have the resources to provide him with that, so
absolutely.
I think that should be how we start our day.
I agree. Have we contacted Marcus yet?
I think that got redacted.
Right.
You're going to do it in the morning, but this is still the morning. So
still the morning.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about contacting Marcus? Should we do it now? Should we wait until we've got this gentleman on his way?
Are we having this conversation in front of him?
Yeah.
Yes, I would assume so.
He is just standing there.
Yeah, he's just right there.
I'm just asking for clarification so I don't talk to him like or talk about him like he's not standing right fucking there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood. And he says
that would be a completely different conversation than the potential conversation I could be having right now.
Oh my god.
So he hears you guys discussing the plans, and he says, and all he says is, so this man, you're helping him leave town.
Yes.
Correct.
That's what he asked.
I was referring to the summoner who's not with us, correct?
No, why would you let him leave your presence?
I'd be especially vigilant, to make sure he was still at least around us so that he doesn't run.
I just spent an hour outside working out. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay?
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But, you guys, you could step away from him a little bit to have this discussion, but you're not really hiding it that I know of.
No. As far as I know, we're not hiding it unless you guys want to hide it.
I mean, we're doing what
No.
he asked.
I had a possible alternate solution.
And
Oh.
what was that?
Well, regardless of where you go, I meta knowledge. What did he call himself? What did he name himself as?
He gave us a couple of names, but he was like, "Oh, you don't like." Hold on.
Wasn't it Paul or some shit like that?
He gave you one name that was obviously false, and then he
Yeah.
told you his actual name. Milagros is panning as fast as she can.
Yes. No. I'm scrolling.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Ladies and
Also-
gentlemen, if you didn't know, Milagros is the most amazing note taker that has ever been a note taker in the history of notes. And I'm stalling.
So-
for it.
So essentially, your name here.
Yes. Thank you. Because I'm still scrolling.
So it seems that no matter where you go, you're going to be hunted, right?
Yes, that is the situation I'm in. It's basically I'm choosing how long I'm going to attempt to run for as long as I can, and push whatever joy I can find out of the rest of my days.
What if I had an option for you to be protected?
Eric.
Is it Eric? Got it.
Hmm.
So he
Was
says,
that the first or the second name that he gave?
That's the second name.
What was the first name? Because I didn't call him by his second name.
Conjurer's name is Pete. Psych. It's Eric.
It's Pete. It's Pete. Thank you.
That's all Pete.
Okay. We're gonna call him Pete.
he is definitely Pete.
Now we'll just roll his eyes.
So, yeah. What if we had an option that meant you didn't have to flee the city but could still be protected?
What type of option are we talking about?
Well, the gentleman who hired us to come and find you seems to work for one of your enemies. But the old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if your friends have now become your enemies, you need some new friends.
I think I see where you're going with this.
I understand what you're saying completely. I respect what you're saying. But I would remind you that it's not exactly unheard of for them to take someone like me and, get what little other information out of me they can by whatever means they can, and then dump me off the cliff. I mean,
You could at
That's
least
my
watch
point.
you could at least watch the cliff coming and not get attacked from behind while you're running away.
Also a fair point.
It is up to you. We will do what you ask. I assume that you have a home here and maybe family, and running from your family and your home never sits right.
if I had a home and I had a family, what happened last night would be guaranteeing their death. That's the only reason I even am willing to attempt to run, because it only affects me.
We will do as you wish. I am sure that we could probably work that out if you wanted.
Like I said, you know who you're dealing with on a level of, I hope, the understanding of what these men are willing to do to each other, what I am willing to do to others, because that is where the entire system breaks down. Once you deal with men like us, you have to accept the fact that we can tell you anything. We can give you honeyed words. But what ends up happening after, the speaker of the words no longer has an audience that needs them spoken? they revert to their true selves. I mean, if you can find a way to have them guarantee my safety, then, or even allow me to turncoat, which is not usually a thing that happens, he says, then absolutely. I do not, as I told you, my employers are bargaining with powers that I do not agree with. Even someone as lowly as myself can have limits. And I am telling you that they have been crossed.
So would you like to have a conversation with him and see if this would work?
Okay, so you're going to bring me up in front of one of their bosses. You're going to say, hey, here's the guy who had all the information you needed. We've got the information. Here it is. We're going to take this carrot and we're going to leave with it now. If you don't agree to protect it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave you with him.
Well, I'm just saying that once you show him that I'm still alive, he was probably fully expecting you to torture me to death to get the information. I was expecting,
but we have the information. And
his wording was nondescript as to how we get the information.
Well, that's to leave it up to you so you can show your ingenuity.
Well,
and I feel that we have.
And you may have more information. He may pay your passage.
Or, like I said, he may dump my body off a cliff. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, unless you guys can think of something that someone who's lived this lifestyle for more years than I can count could think of as a way to make me valuable enough that they would actually keep me around and not just end me when my value is used.
What I'm saying is you stay here and have a conversation for money. You have information he wants, other than the information we gathered. You stay here, you have a conversation, he pays you for your information, you have money to run.
I mean, I have money to run. I was gonna stop off and pick it up. I was like, look, I'm not saying that I don't appreciate exactly what you're saying, and I don't know why you would be going out of your way. That doesn't make
Listen,
any sense.
you don't agree with what's happening, correct?
No, I don't agree with what's happening.
Which means that on some level, you do not jibe with the Ruby, which makes you, on some level, opposed to them. As of now, we have some inkling that they are working with dark and insane powers that are possibly looking to harm the Mist Mother, who has brought us all together.
And when you say that, you see you don't have to make a perception or anything like that. You say that, his eyes kind of like widen out a bit, and he looks down and he appears incredibly guilty. Like there is something that's really bothering him.
So,
what does that look? What did you do?
It's like, I have not done anything that would harm the Mist Mother. And I would never.
I know that you would never do something like that intentionally. But you're working with people, or you have worked with people, who seem to be aligned with folk who would. And through no fault of your own, of course you could not have known this, unless you did, and you're not telling us, which I have reason to believe that you possibly didn't. All I'm saying is, you have now put yourself in a place where you have opposed the powers that be whom you have worked for in the past. We want to help you further oppose them by getting the hell out of Dodge. However that looks for you and however that is best for you, if we can help that happen, we want to help that happen. Sugash and Grandpak made fantastic points that you know, the leader of the Emerald might be able to help you in this way, but I also see what you're saying in that there's nothing keeping him from slitting your throat on sight.
Let us just get him to his ship.
I think that would probably be the best and wisest plan.
It was
So-
nice to, he kind of looks and gets a wide look in his face. It was nice to almost have hope for a minute, though.
Aeom stands up for a second.
Okay.
Do you feel like you've ever done anything against the Mist Mother?
I've murdered.
There's
No qualms, no issues. I have no excuses. I did what I had to do in order to ensure that that fate wouldn't be mine. But for that, I made others suffer it. And
But you said you've never gone against her.
no. I said I'd never do anything to harm her.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the things I have seen have led me to believe that the things that they're bargaining with intend to upset the balance as it sits.
Well, the Mist Mother is full of forgiveness, regardless of how it may seem sometimes, as someone who grew up on Kyrell. But have faith in yourself.
You may survive this yet. But I can respect the man who wants to write his own or punch his own clock as far as how long he has left in the world.
Or to
Knowing
right
that's a
his
fight.
own wrongs.
That too.
We'll see. I if you get me to the ship, that's all I will ever ask.
Then we should do so.
That was the agreement. I have no idea if you could even do the other things we discussed, but also I know that those things we discussed are still a risk. And
Absolutely.
no, not just for me. The things that you're promoting or proposing would be a risk for you. Because they wouldn't just accept your word. If you were bargaining for a life, you would have to stake something against that of the same value. So, I think the best option for everyone is the ship.
Brown Punk's gonna go outside and flip the coin to call the cab.
All right. Are you going to revise the whole summoning Marcus idea then?
What
Yeah.
if my life... Hold up. What if we could bargain my life for yours?
No.
Mine
not
is
an
collateral.
No.
Mine
That's
is
not an
collateral.
option, Aeon.
No.
He says, I don't know you at all.
You know I'm a priest.
I know that. But I don't think anyone who has come from a place of sheltering and nurturing and love could understand what they're attempting to throw away by making that bargain.
But it's my choice.
No, it's not actually.
Absolutely not.
I
Nope.
turn to you. Like, one, there's us.
Yeah.
Two, there's the Mist Mother.
Mm-hmm.
The Mist Mother put you on this path with us for a reason. I personally will not have you throw your life away potentially by offering your life in exchange for his. That is not an option, Aeon. I will not have it.
What if this was the moment
It's
that I was
not the
brought here
moment.
for?
It's not. I can.
He's kind of looking back and forth between you all, and he's like, what are you talking about?
Let's just say that greater powers have brought us together to aid in the Mist Mother's plight.
And kind of looks you up and down, Val, and he says, "What are you saying?"
I put my hands on his head.
Okay.
Oh,
Our mind to your mind. And then our voices in his head, our thoughts to your thoughts. And I show him the dream.
So it takes a few moments, of course, to bring this across and
Yeah.
make this happen. When he is, and then of course he's reeling for a few moments because that's a lot of information to digest.
Absolutely.
So he kind of collapses on one of the benches, and after he sits there for a second, and he just suddenly goes fucking pale, absolutely pale, and he kind of leans over leans over the side of the bench and just throws up on the floor, and he says, "Oh God,
Can we get a mop?
What have I done?"
what did you do?
I showed him the dream.
No, what did he do?
Oh, he threw up just now.
No. Why did he react like that?
Oh, yeah. Why did you react that way?
What do you mean, what did I do?
That's a very good question.
The reason I know what I know is they brought several of us, some of their best practitioners, together 3 nights ago on the darkest night of the year, the night when all the moons and all the planets are brought to shadow by the mist itself. When we go through our nearest orbit around the twins. As you know, there's no darkness here. There's always light in the sky. But on this night, it's the dimmest here in Alatras. We were deep below the earth in the cliffs. I know the arcane. I have been a practitioner my entire life. What we did broke the Mist Mother's very essence, broke the skin of the mist, and created a sliver. And through that sliver, shadows came.
Oh, blinding light.
And then there was a voice. It spoke in a language I couldn't understand, but my masters spoke it. Or at least they understood it and were able to speak it back.
Could you relate the words at all?
I can't even remember them now. Not because I tried to forget. I tried to remember. I tried to hold on. But when it was all said and done, the creatures retreated back into that sliver. And it closed. But I know the arcane. And I know that we weakened that protection once. And I know that if they do it again, the more they do it, the longer they can maintain it. And the longer they can maintain it, the more can come through.
That's not good. Oh, blinding light.
There is. He kind of looks at you, Aom, and he seems almost angry and bitter when he looks at you. And he says, "And now how do I atone?"
There's always a way. No matter the darkness, no matter the scar on your soul, you can always step back from the edge. You just need to take that step. I would be there to help you.
I'll speak to Marcus.
Thank you.
I don't even know if the watch could do anything, but I know what powers these men wield. And I know their ability to keep secrets. And I know this one still lives as a secret. I thought that you were honestly trying to ferret it out of me, make me slip, make me reveal that I knew more. It was the only chip I had to try and keep myself alive. Now, I don't think that matters as much.
It doesn't. And for myself, it never did.
I think we speak of two different things, but I appreciate the thought.
We kind of lean our head to the side and stare at you, Aeom. Why do you believe your life matters so little?
It's not about my life mattering little. It's about how much everybody's life matters.
But you cannot promote or do anything about that, my friend, if you are dead.
Perhaps. But
So excited.
does not each person deserve the chance for atonement?
Everyone deserves the chance for atonement, friend. At the cost of one's own life, however. If we are to preserve life, if we are to save whatever existence this is.
Then we have to start somewhere.
Yes, but not by spilling our own blood. Not if we don't have to.
That's only assuming that he does wrong. My life is only in the balance, not forfeit.
All of our lives are in the balance, Hale. Every
So
last
what's
one of our
changed?
lives. You have been brought here with us for a reason. Laying down your life in this way, I refuse to believe that this is the reason.
I could agree.
He kind of stops you, and Eric stops you, and he's like, I am not asking for collateral.
And I give Aeom a pat and I squeeze his shoulder. And you will not be collateral, not to anyone. You are my friend, damn you, and I will not let you die.
By the way, RJ,
And
the cab has come down, and he lands, and he looks kind of blurry-eyed, and he's like, yeah, you've got a few hours left. What do you need?
We'll need transportation to the Sky Docks. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go inside and grab him a cup of coffee.
Okay. Not trusting your overnight cabbie. All right.
If he's bleary-eyed and driving a vehicle that
It looks
fast,
like he just
I'm not
woke up.
dying.
He was probably sleeping in his cab because you hired him for the night and you kind of like left him.
If even then, I'm gonna bring the guy a cup of fucking coffee to wake up with.
Gotcha. All right, so you're coming in. You see everyone still standing around Eric.
The cab is here. Then I'm just gonna walk past him and continue on. Just let them know that it's here. They can continue doing what they're doing. I have no idea what the hell's gone on in the last 5 minutes. I am just on my way through to get this guy a cup of coffee and a sausage.
And a sausage. So,
Val,
go ahead.
hold up. Val,
Yeah.
thank you. But
Don't.
we
No
don't
buts.
always.
No.
No buts.
No.
I will not accept it.
Neither will I.
And
We don't
what
always
will
get to
she do?
accept things.
And I point to
Oh, no.
Utopia.
What is
What will
this
she
dumbass
do?
gonna do?
She loves you so much. Do not Do not make one of us knock you unconscious to knock some sense into your head.
And Eric he's still sitting on the bench. He's hasn't gotten up, but he kind of leans forward. And he rests his hands on his knees, and he kind of looks at you, Aeom, and he says, "I don't know if the horns make your head extra thick, but I said I wasn't asking for collateral."
I know. And
So you
I
will
don't
not
think-
be it.
Yep.
So
I don't
while
think this
the-
argument involves collateral anymore. Or if it even is an argument.
It shouldn't
Merely
be.
a discussion of ideals. And
My ideal is that you are my friend. And as far as I am
by
concerned,
spilling
and
our
as
own
far as
blood.
you, that one, and I point to Utopia, is concerned, you are not going anywhere. Are we at an accord? I
I
will accept
appreciate
no answer other than an affirmative. And then I mentally summon Inari.
Oh my
Look at
God.
this! Look at this fox. She would be heartbroken if anything happened to you.
Not the familiar.
And she just sits there with her head cocked to the side. Big ol' eyes.
Aeom looks down at Inari and sort of gets down on one knee.
yeah. And I would be truly sad to lose all of you.
She licks your face, obviously.
But
Then we are at an understanding. And I turn her away. And I turn to Eric. We're getting you the fuck out of here.
I love you all.
And we love you
That is
too,
all.
friend. And I turn back to Eric. We're getting you the fuck out of here. We are going to have... No. You are going to have to find atonement on your own terms. We cannot define what that means for you. But there is still time to atone. If helping you to leave town, to leave the planet even, is a way to help you do that, then we are behind you. Choose now. Leaving the planet, going to Marcus.
It's like,
Those are your options.
he looks you right in the eyes, and he says, "You know," and he kind of looks around at all of you. All of you know what I saw, what I know, because
Yes.
it wasn't a vision; it was memories.
Yes,
And I am.
the option stands.
I understand the option stands. You have to understand that it isn't an option. I have not done anything that makes any of this debatable. And the one thing I can do in this situation, above everything else, is try and play what I know to get one power to go against another power, to put one evil on another evil, and hopefully stop all this, or at least slow it down.
So you have chosen your path, and that is how you shall atone.
We'll see about that. And he goes like, "I'm gonna go find a towel." And he gets off and he starts walking towards the kitchen.
I will walk up to Aeom. I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and then pull him into like a huge bear hug. Don't you ever fucking scare me like that again. And then I
I'm
let
like
him go
bear hugging
and I
both
walk.
of you. No, I'm bear hugging both of you. I'm like, no. We are in this together. Absolutely not.
And I
No.
pat them both as freely as I can.
With your hands that are kind of trapped like this.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Wasn't expecting that.
Well, let's do this. We've been going for a while now, so let's take our 10-minute break. I need to get my drink refilled, and I need to choke my dog completely out.
Oh my god.
because he's still going crazy. So I love you, sweetie, but go night night. Go night night.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
All right. So we will be back in 10 minutes. It is 8:28 Central Standard Time. We will be back at 8:38, and thank you guys so much. We'll see you then.
Bye. Clear.
ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. Thank you very much for giving us that little pause. We greatly appreciate it. And so we have, we've just gone through that little scene. So at that point, there is a slow, poignant clap coming from the entrance.
Oh,
From the hallway, I should say.
my god.
Standing beside him is a dwarf in chainmail armor with hooks adorning it all over the place, who has got his gauntlets on this time because he's not eating a sandwich. And each one of the gauntlets ends in about a 12-inch spike. And he's also wearing a helmet that has a spike on top of his head.
Hey, it's the disappearing man.
And then Marcus is standing there looking as dapper as ever. He's once again all in white. His almost white blonde hair is cascading around him. And once again, devilishly handsome. And he's leaning on a cane.
He's alright.
He's leaning on a cane that's topped with a piece of green, a large piece of green emerald, raw green emerald. And he kind of like, he's holding the cane through his cricket's arm. He's kind of just like, he says, "Well, I would say you got the job done."
And I turned to him. Well, you cut the most dashing figure.
He's like, "And I thank you. I'm sure with all the road dust off, you'd be amazing."
I will take the compliment.
He
Thanks.
says, "And with, the money that you've probably earned from this little job, you can definitely find that out by going to the finest accommodations you'd like." And he kind of looks over at Eric. Oh, he looks over at the kitchen as Eric comes walking out of the kitchen with a towel, a wet towel. He's finishing wiping his face off, and Eric kind of looks up and sees Marcus, and he stops, and then he kind of like looks at you all and kind of like shakes his head with like a grin on his face.
I'm actually going to position myself between him and Marcus.
Okay. And so he starts walking up, and Marcus says, "So,
We have finished our contract. This one has more information for you on his own deal,
well,
but he is under our protection."
okay. Let's not rush into protection and aggressive words like this.
Putting out where we stand right now.
And I'm sorry, I appreciate it. That is a good thing to know right away. All I'm saying is, we're talking, and we're in a place of worship. He says that.
Talking is good. Talking
like-
is very good.
He's like, "Oh, by the way, I paid your cab off and told him to leave."
Questions about that
did
later.
something change?
So he just showed up. I'm not sure how or why.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
That was
I
my
totally
fault.
forgot that Grandpa was still outside with the guy having coffee. I thought Grandpa was like observing what was going on.
No, I literally went, got
No,
coffee,
I-
and took it back to the cabbie.
Like for one split
Wait
second,
for
I forgot who
everybody else to
Grandpa
show
was, and forgot that Grandpa wouldn't give a shit about what's going on inside. He's just taking the guy some coffee.
What is
and
going
sauce.
on? Like, why did you send him away? What?
So Grandpa,
What?
Just handed, wait, no, Marcus pays him and he's about to leave, and then he's like, wait, hold on, takes the coffee.
What
and is like,
we're going to
"This
do is we're going to remove Marcus saying that he paid for the cab to leave.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then Marcus says, basically it says, so from what I understand, this gentleman is under your protection because you're delivering him to me. He has valuable information. I'm trying to get a good grasp on where the whole concept of the aggression comes in, because this looks like a win-win for both of us.
He does not wish to stay with you.
He does not wish to die.
Okay, I mean, as I really think that's going to depend on the significance of his skills and his information.
Then I propose a deal for you.
Okay, what's the deal?
He needs to go to a bank to get money to flee. That is his first intention.
And Eric kind of like puts his hand on Shigasa's arm and says, I don't keep my money in a bank.
Wherever your money is. Besides the point.
He needs to go somewhere.
We need to take him there, which we'll do by Skycab. You are welcome to join us and have a conversation with him. Any information he has, we probably know, but it's not ours to give. You can have your conversation, and he can determine if he wants to stay with you or leave, and you have your information that is pertinent to everybody.
Per our agreement.
That is a win-win, because he gets to choose at the end, and you get what you want.
Absolutely, I think you're completely right.
I figured you'd be pretty reasonable about this.
This is not a situation that needs to do anything more than be yet another simple transaction. And as long as we all stay calm and collective, and no one loses their heads, and he literally reaches out and pats the dwarf on top of the head, and he says, we will all be just fine.
And I take that action or I take in that action and I look to the dwarf. Have you lost your head recently?
The dwarf kind of looks at you and,
is he patting your head from personal experience?
do you, what language does Val speak?
I speak Common, Elvish, and Quarry.
Okay.
I speak Dwarven.
Oh, he's not speaking in Dwarven.
Oh.
Does anyone speak Goblin?
No.
No.
Let me check.
Yeah.
He
Because
might.
I might,
Yep.
Did you take a
considering
ton
the
of
fact.
languages?
No, I'm a fucking traitor, so. No, I took Orc instead.
Gotcha, no problem.
Or no, I have Common, Orc, and Draconic,
Got
so.
it. Yeah, and you, in 5e, it's very hard to get a bunch of languages now. It's very hard. So, he's in Goblin, the orc says, well, in a language you don't recognize, the orc says something. Oh, actually, no, you probably would recognize it because of where you two come from. In Goblin, he says something that is, very quick, and Marcus kind of like chuckles, and he says, "No," he says, his head remains where it is at all times.
I wasn't speaking literally, but good to know.
Oh, yeah, well, he takes things really literally.
Gotcha.
So, let's go ahead and take care of this man's errand so we can get down to business.
Fantastic. I go and find the father very quickly before we leave.
Okay. You're walking towards the kitchen. You find the father, and he's basically talking to the someone who's obviously taking charge of the kitchen for the morning. Mm-hmm. And as you're walking up, he says, "Yes, and anything left over. If anyone comes in, just keep on serving them. I know it's going to make the dishes run long, but we were very lucky, and we had plenty of food, so we're going to continue to show that love, show the mother's love out to those in the streets. So we'll set up a table outside, and oh, I'm sorry, did you need something?"
Yes, I just wanted to let you know that we were going to be leaving now. Our ride has come, and we'll be on our way. And I wanted to thank you for your kindness and for your hospitality.
Absolutely. Let me wish my my little cousin goodbye, as it were. And he comes outside, and as he's walking out of the kitchen with you, and as he comes walking out of the kitchen, he sees Marcus, and he stops, and he was smiling and everything before. He stops, and his face kind of like goes hard, and his steps become very different. From the light, casual pace with the heel-toe walking pattern, his steps suddenly become light. His knees seem to stay almost in a permanently bent position. and you see his right hand comes down behind his right leg, and it just stays there hovering with his hand held open like that, but it's down and behind his left leg, or his right leg, I should say. And he comes walking up, and Marcus kind of looks at him as he comes walking up, and he says, "See, this is what I mean about losing your head." And he says, "There is nothing going on. It's a business transaction." And the father says, "Your business is not welcome here."
Which is why we're leaving, Father.
He says, he kind of looks at you all, and he looks at Aeom, and he says, "I had no idea."
It's a bit complicated.
And
Unfortunately.
he looks kind of crestfallen as he's looking at you, Aeom.
Father, I thank you for your wisdom and seeing the kindness that you show to the people here. But my path may lead me to some that are undesirable. But
He kinda
because of
stops. Go ahead.
but because of the passion that you have shown for your work, I have decided that this is not wholly bad. And I know that while it may seem that I may be doing something shady, this is all for the Miss Mother.
He goes, "I do not question her. I would not question her." He says, "But I know the Miss Mother picks those who she needs. That doesn't always mean they're going to be someone the rest of us can accept."
Oh, and Val suddenly catching the meaning, or at least believing he's catching the meaning. It's like, oh no, she didn't pick him.
No.
He's not involved in any of this.
And Marcus says, "What do you mean? Doesn't Miss Mother love me too?" And Father's like, "Just go."
Get the fuck.
And
Aeom
Marcus
looks
is
at
like,
the father.
"Huh?"
Aeom stares at the father, sort of incredulously.
Val puts his hand into the bag that the steward of Utopia's house entrusted him with, and pulls out 4 platinum pieces, takes the father's hand, and puts them in them. "Please continue to do good by the people here."
And the father kind of looks down at the platinum in his hand, and he says,
This money does not come from him at all.
It's a donation from the Asters.
Yes, this is for my family.
On behalf
Given
of the
freely.
Asters.
You did watch over her for the night, did you not?
Yes, that's true.
Yes,
And that's what this
That
money
was-
is for.
No,
So
We
thank
are
you
we
for
did
your kindness.
Caretakers, apparently.
We did that because it is the right thing to do,
And I am repaying that kindness now.
and we will accept because it is the right thing to do for everyone here.
That's all I ask.
Father, I may be ignorant of many things in this world, but it is my sect's teaching of the Miss Mother that all can be forgiven, given the right steps taken. Even that man who walks out your door at this very moment. And I would hope that I'm not wrong. And that you would think better of me for hoping as such.
I would never dare to think less of you. He says, "I am just shocked." And he kind of shakes his head and he says, I'm actually shocked. To see my brother again.
Absolute surprise. I am stammering in my head. Like,
And he kind of
I'm like mentally poking at my quarry. Like, what did he say? What I think he said?
And the Corey's like, shh, I'm watching this.
Okay.
And he says, I apologize for the reaction.
It is. I apologize for the surprise.
I'm sure it was not your intent. He says, but I think it is best if at this point we all
Part ways.
take lessons learned and go about our way. Yes.
That's fair, and I understand. If I crossed again, I would hope it be under better circumstances.
I doubt it could be much worse.
Fair enough.
That's true.
He says, but no matter what, may the Miss Mother guide you. May you find safe harbor. May you find rest. May the open skies always welcome you.
And may the Miss Mother go with you. And may you continue your great works here, Father.
He says, and he kind of reaches out and he puts his hand on his thumb on your forehead, and you're resting it with his palm outstretched, and he stops and he just quietly mutters for a few moments, and he's like, be careful. He is not to be trusted. Even if he is being used as a tool for the Miss Mother. Not all of her tools are safe.
Boy, don't we know it.
I will always hold hope.
And I turn away from him.
He's all right. So, you guys head outside. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So, Grandpa, the cab
It's
driver,
about time you guys showed up.
the cab driver is kind of like finishing his coffee because they've been there so long, and he kind of looks up and he's like, well, this is he's like, this has been a good morning already. Free breakfast. He's like, and paid fare. So, where are we? And he's kind of walking. He sees. He recognizes the wizard, and he sees Marcus and the dwarf, and he's like, 2 more, I take it.
Yes.
He's like, well, she can handle it. He says, where are we going to be heading?
I just
And,
look at Marcus.
Yeah, I look
And
towards
Marcus
Marcus.
looks at
Not
Eric.
Marcus. Eric.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Eric.
And Marcus looks at Eric. And
His name is Pete.
I've been writing it as Eric in my notes, so it's Eric.
yeah, it's Eric. It's Eric.
Eric slash Pete for me.
He told me his name was Pete. I take his first name. His second name may be Eric, but he is Pete.
I lean over to Grandpa. I don't think he was telling us the truth when he told
Yeah,
us Pete
that was a
earlier.
lie.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was a lie. I think Eric is his
Pete is a
actual name.
joke.
I mean, you can continue to call him Pete all you like. I just want to make that clear. And then I lean away.
Eric's like kind of like watching you, look, kind of like leans over to you two talking. Didn't even didn't even ask to interrupt the conversation. And he kind of like, yeah, I completely lied. My name is Eric.
And I just point to Eric. And like,
But and he kind of sees a look at Grandpa's face. And he's like, but I mean, yeah, if you want to call me Pete, that's my orcish name now.
Yeah, I'm stepping in between them.
let's get in the car and talk about where we're
Yeah,
going
let's do it.
and figure this out.
So everyone piles in, I take it.
Yep.
No one chops Pete's head off.
Oh no, I'm between him and Grandpa.
Shugosh made sure I got in the passenger seat on the front side of the cab.
Yeah.
and not into the back with the rest of the people.
All right, so you guys load up into the skycab. Whoever's inside, you see Eric leans forward to the driver, and he says, "Take us to the bend." He says, "Where the sewers dump out." He says, "There's a house in that little square there." He says, "That's where we'll be going." And the driver kind of gets this look on his face like, the bend, really? And he's like, "I need to pick up something." And he's like, "If you guys say so, then you pay for the cab."
Val nods. Yeah, it's cool.
Grandpa just looks at the cab driver like, "Why are you asking such a senseless question?"
Yep. Got it. Get eaten by an orc or go to the bend. It's really still a hard choice.
Oh
let's
my
go.
god.
Wow, the bend that bad?
And
I would not teach you. Man flesh does not taste good.
Too rough on barbecue.
and the guy kind of gets this shocked look on his face. He's like, "No, never mind."
And I like lean over to Sugash. You know this from experience, I take it?
It'll probably be the only time you see a small grin on Shugash's face.
Oh, so cannibalism makes Sugash smile.
It's not cannibalism.
No, that's just straight sarcasm. Like, I'm fucking with the caddy, and that was a joke.
Oh my god.
Wait a minute.
Val will give Sugash like as subtle a wink as he can with like, and I'm smirking. It's like, yeah, okay, gotcha.
I have one question to ask about that whole scene right there. Did Utopia just try and step up and start defending Sugash for cannibalism? Because she's like, "But it's not cannibalism, though."
Yes. It's not cannibalism.
No, not at all.
It's a different species.
It's not cannibalism.
Yep.
You can't call it cannibalism if it's a different species.
It's a different species.
A humanoid species, but it's still a different
But it's
species.
still a different species. You can eat a kangaroo. They stand on two legs.
Oh my god.
People eat monkey brains.
You're really pushing that paladin line there.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'll play along with the orc stereotypes.
Oh my God.
At the end of the day, you don't know.
You don't know.
Everybody thinks that we're just these big, angry, mean people.
Exactly.
Like,
Wonder why.
idea. We just look angry.
There's a
Okay?
difference between not
Just
wanting
for
to
the-
be touched and needing coffee every morning than just being a straight asshole. Like, I want coffee and personal space. I don't need hugs every 5 seconds. That's make me a dick.
Hey,
That's just not
All
me.
right. Oops.
I'm not that affectionate like that.
Also,
No,
for
he's not.
just character building, Aom is sitting on the back of the cart and just watches the temple disappear as we drive off.
it's a sky cab that does, like, from the way Ray described it, at least 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
It goes real
So
fast.
hold the fuck on, somebody.
holding the fuck on.
We are holding the fuck on. All right. So, you guys jump in the cab. It goes racing across the sky. It only because you're already kind of in the bad part of town. It only takes like 10 minutes to get from where you are. Not even 10 minutes. It takes like 5 or 6 minutes to get from where you are to the place that. When you see it, you kind of understand why it's called the Bend. It's this thin line where all the buildings look like they're all about to collapse. And there is what looks to be, might have been an old aqueduct system, but it's now looks like it is a cistern and a pooling place that looks like it probably catches rainwater and then is used to pump that rainwater, used under pressure to bring that rainwater down. And for the most part, it looks like it flushes out the sewers. And this is like, if there could be a bad place to live in the slums, this is the bad place to live in the slums.
Wow.
So, let me get something real quick. Let me know when you can see that, guys.
I got it.
It's changing.
I don't have any
I don't own
tokens
a
with
token.
vision, but
That's the
No, I'm like, I got it because I guess GM status. I just assumed it was
Hey.
right now.
Yeah. Let me bring tokens on the board, because this is where the airship is going to land. Oh wait, it's the wrong token. Utopia. Valestein. Let me find some NPCs. That's going to be Eric.
sorry, I always move my character from where the GM places me because I'm not one to play that game.
Yep.
Even when you do it randomly?
No, it's Panda will place us and then lob a fucking AoE into the middle of our group.
Yeah. I don't stay on top of the entire party clustered into a little 6x2 or 3x2 square.
Yeah, no.
Mhm.
Like, no, you're not gonna surprise. Here's
Oh, come
to your
on.
face.
Fool me once with a
Yeah.
fireball. It happened. Panda placed us all and was like, "That look like a good order for you guys? Surprise attack, fireball, AoE, hit everyone in your fucking group."
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I forgot
It's
these
been a
cameras.
thing.
Everyone in your fucking group's dead. Good surprise, huh?
Yeah.
Basically,
It was surprising.
Cannot see anything except for me.
Hang on one second.
Yeah,
it's because you're blind.
No, that's not because he's blind, because the lighting's all fucked up again.
I'm allowed to give him shit. That's why
You
you
are
bring him
allowed
along
to
in
give
this
him
campaign.
shit. That was my fault. I will shut up. You can go. Sorry. Go back to giving him shit. I'll give you 3 minutes of just shit giving.
Not blind yet.
I elect to spread that out through the rest of the session.
That's fair.
So 3 minutes, but all the seconds don't have to be consecutive.
Yeah.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's one of those spur of the moments. Like, I can't just hand you a pile of shit and go, "Here's a pile of shit." It's gotta be flavored, like you know,
Wait,
the
wait.
dude that does this shit.
Wait. Does it have to be organic?
Yes.
I mean, it's
I mean,
shit.
it's shit. It's organic.
None of these.
I mean, I don't think that they make a synthetic version of shit.
I don't know. You know, that
I mean,
might be.
it's
People are
it's a
weird.
possibility, but this is a tangent that we don't need to get into.
No.
Right.
I was just
But we're
thought
already
I fix
here.
the cameras.
I mean,
So we'll go with this contextual.
Contextually.
Contextual shit.
Oh god. All right. So, 1 second. And so you guys land, and you can see that this is kind of like a little square, and it is right there in that canal. That is literally a raw sewage flowing through this area. And it goes from that the flow direction is because there's those lines in it are because there's a steel grate there closing that entrance off, and it flows down and it literally runs into another canal entrance underneath that building. You have no idea what that building is. You're up on an upper level, so there's stairs leading down on one side of the either side of the canal there, and then there's the stairs over just to your north that are also leading down. So
which way does Eric start walking? Or Pete? Pete.
you almost messed up. Pete actually is, he kind of like, the cab lands there, and Pete kind of looks over at you guys, and he kind of just like walks directly over. Oops, I'm on the wrong thing. Oops. 1 second. And he
who's
walks
that?
over to this door right here in this building that we landed right beside.
I can only see me and that
I could have
NPC.
sworn I turned on the daylight.
Name.
So he walks to that building. Cool.
It looks like it's doing some fog of war business here.
Yeah.
It shouldn't
I'm-
be doing Fog of War. Oh, I see what you're saying. Hang on one second.
Be nice to have dark vision.
Yeah,
Realizing how
it's helpful.
yeah.
But I'm basically staying close to him along this process because there's obviously people that aren't going to like the fact that he is with Disappearing Guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, can't
Ah,
wait
there we
for
go.
There we go.
Utopia to finally.
You guys got
find
vision
out
now? Let me
Not
check.
Yes.
everybody has freaking dark vision.
Not everybody has freaking dark vision. All right, so he comes up and he opens. He goes in. He starts walking through this door, and he says as he walks through, he says he walks in this building, and this building isn't even like really intact. This is all collapsed and ruined. It's a one-room clap building. There's no windows, but that doesn't really matter too much because the boards are so trashed, you can literally just peek between the gaps to see outside. Across from the door, there is a fireplace, and Eric makes straight for the fireplace. He walks over to it, and he crouches down in front of it. He reaches into the fireplace itself, puts his hand up, and he spends a few moments looking around, and he's feeling around, and he kind of just like, come on, just one lucky break. And he says, thank the mother. And he pulls his hand down and out of it, and there is an wrapped oiled package in his hand. A leather package that's been oiled up to basically to weatherproof it. And he kind of like unrolls it, and as it comes out, you see that there are 3 platinum trade bars. Now, platinum bars or trade bars are a concept that is used for banking when there wasn't really credit. The value of the bars is based both on the metal and a multiplier that's assigned to them when the bars are cast. So a platinum trade bar is not worth its weight in platinum. It's worth its multiplier in platinum because you have to take it to the financial institution that it's set from to retrieve it. So that's what trade bars are for. And you can see that these are what they call sixers. So they're basically like 6-inch long trade bars. They probably weigh close to probably about half a pound. And but it has, each one of the 3 trade bars has 3 X's stamped into the top of it, and each one of the trade bars has the symbol of the Bank of the Council, which is the only banking system that the council actually federates and uses for business regarding governmental payouts. So they're the ones who pay like any type of currency that's needed for any government business, whether internationally, interplanetary, or just like payroll. This bank is what's utilized for it.
Okay.
So, and he kind of like he rolls the bar up and he kind of looks at Sugash, and he pulls one of the bar. You were kind of in there with him, right? Oh no, that's
Yeah.
Grandpa, sorry, Grandpa.
Should be.
And he kind of like he slips one of the gold trade bars out, and he stands up, and he walks over to you, and he says,
What is this for?
He says, I'll probably be dead soon. He's like, and they'll take this. He's like, I am going to at least do a small good thing. He says, so hang on to that. When you get a chance, it may be one of the few ways I can really make a difference. You might need it.
I will put that at the bottom of my bag.
And he says,
You said it was a gold trade bar, or is
no,
it
it's
one
a
of
platinum
the?
trade bar.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And he kind of and he does like kind of like when he's rolling up the thing, he kind of like puts his hand in it and he goes like, I hope it didn't break. And he pulls his hand out and he says, and he's holding a black wand. And he says, you just don't go in completely unarmed, do you? And he like slips it inside his robes.
I don't say a word.
It's like,
At the end of the day, I respect a warrior, and if that's how he chooses to be a warrior, then by all means.
So he kind of looks at you and he nods, and he says, "That's all I needed from here."
Then let us continue on our way. I believe you have a conversation you need to have.
He says, "I think that would be best." So you guys head out, move over to the car. The car actually had to lift off to give you room to move around. So it comes back down and kind of just like as you guys make room for it, it comes back down and you guys pile in. You guys lift off and start making your way to the docks. Now this is a much longer trip, even at the speeds this car can go at. So it takes like a good half an hour to make it all the way up to the docks. And he says, as you guys are flying, Marcus kind of looks at you all and says, "So, first off, pay up. The color sequence."
Oh,
Ah,
I have it. My God, why do I take so many notes?
Why do I take so many
We're all
notes?
just stalling. We're like, it's.
All the rest of us are like, "No, don't stop."
No, seriously, oh my God! Like I take everything, and then I'm like, "Where's this one?" Okay, I found it. Okay. The color sequence he said was in a rhyme,
Mm-hmm.
and it is black to gray, the light fades away, gray to white, hope in the night, a streak of silver, you feel your spine shiver, then red, you pray to be dead, then gray, then black, the darkness is back.
And he kind of like stops and he kind of looks at you all and he's like, he kind of looks over at Eric and he's like, "Really?" And Eric kind of looks at him and he says, "I didn't make it." And he was like, all right. And he kind of looks at Eric. "That's what it is, right? I'm not going to have to like put your head in a vice or something weird." He's like, "How did you guys get it and make sure that it was the right thing?" Because he doesn't look marked up.
we didn't have to mark him up.
Oh.
We did a fair amount of convincing otherwise.
He's like, "You
We're
must have
efficient
had-"
that way.
Okay. All right. No. All right. So this is on you, of course, and he's vouching for it. Not that I trust him, but he's vouching for it. So let's go ahead and assume that that's the right color sequence, and that's what we needed. He says, "So you all are. We're headed to the docks. I'm assuming that means that you're trying to get him out of here.
Yes.
Yes.
So what can I do to convince you that he is worth more in our hands?"
Convince him.
Convince him, not us.
Yep.
He says, he kind of looks at Eric and he says, "Don't think there's any way I could really convince you that we would ever have your best interests at heart at this point." And Eric kind of like, I already told him that. And he says, "All right, let's think about this. Anything I tell you can be undone by anyone above me." He says, "Would you have the quality of information that would warrant me sticking my neck out far enough to bring you to the Council of Emeralds. And he kind of like, Eric kind of sits back and he's kind of like, I think yes, but he kind of looks around and he's like, why? He's like, I'm lower in the totem pole than you are in my organization. Why would you trust that someone like me could have something worth enough for the risk you're willing to take? And Marcus kind of looks at all the rest of you, and he looks at you, Val, and he kind of like just taps his forehead, and he says, because I have a hunch.
And Val nods. Of course you do.
He says, so, that can't guarantee your safety. As long as what you have has the value that you're stating it does. You know that if you show to have that value, that they will treat you like an asset. And Eric kind of is like, he sighs and he says, better a caged bird than a dead man. He's like, and maybe I can do the impossible and gain trust. And Eric looks at the rest of you and he says, it's not what I was hoping for, but it's better than what I assumed was going to happen. As
nothing
long
else
as
is a chance.
Huh? It is, but it's also a chance based on the value of what I have to give. I think you all know what I'm going to be talking about. So I think that the value is there. I think it is worth what they would have to do to pay it.
I agree.
He says, so he kind of looks at Marcus and he puts out his hand. And Marcus kind of looks at him and he says, and they shake, and Marcus says, all right. So I'm assuming we don't need to go to the docks.
That's a safe assumption. Yes. Let's go wherever we need to be then.
Then to the docks. And he says, go down to Wet Dock. He says, find the Sea Queen. She should be at the end berth on the far south pier. And he says, he kind of like looks down and he's like, all right, your dime. He's like, by the way, you've got 1 hour left. And so he kind of like zooms the car, because you're already like halfway to the docks, more than halfway to the docks by now. So the cart, instead of going up to the upper docks where the airships are, it tilts and drops down, like it tilts and then hovers over the cliff to where, like, if you lean out the windows real quick, you can see down to the seaport below. And then it just kind of, the bottom just drops out and it goes boom, straight down. And it recovers with enough speed to where it doesn't feel like you're being slammed back down to your seat, but it makes the drop down the cliff in record time. So as you come out,
imagine this while drunk.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, that would not be fun.
No.
So as you come down to it, as you come down to it, there is a large ship. There is, like I said, down here, this is a very raucous seaport. There's a fishing fleet that runs off of here. All the trade from any seafaring vessels comes in here. So whereas the skyport above, because there's not that many sky ships, the skyport above has the 4 piers, four docks, ports that come off each one of the fingers. That's what's up on the skyport above, for the skyport, and each one of those has 4 berths, and so and there's 5 of them, so there's 20 ships that can be docked up there at a time. Down here, this sprawls across the entire base of the cliff, and it goes farther than the fingers spread out. and it looks like it's been built over time and built over itself over and over again, to where it is this maze and network of interconnecting docks and floating jetties and piers and everything like that, and it's turned into this huge network that probably spans about, almost a quarter mile out from the base of the cliff onto the water, because there are actual floating piers, not piers, but floating barges that have been converted into dock space. Everything that is able to be utilized is utilized, and you can see that the stuff farther out, it looks like it's new, like it was just recently built. So, but as you come down to it, there is the last pier that comes off of it on the south side of the docks is a stone pier jetty that goes out. And there are only 4 ships docked to it. The one on the far outside longest port is a huge ship. It is a 3-masted galleon.
Damn.
That has... you can see just from the rows of windows on the sides that this is there's at least 4 decks to the ship, and there is a huge crew on board, and no one here is actually a sailor, right? There's a huge crew on board. They're moving around efficiently. The ship is completely tied off. The sails are furled, which means that they're bound up and tied up and set, so they don't look like they're intent on going anywhere. There is a flurry of activity, as you can see that cargo is being actively loaded into her. One thing you see is that she has both crystal cannons and she has contemporary cannons. So there is black powder. And so she has traditional cannon and she has crystal cannon. Crystal cannon is the only thing that can really be fired efficiently in space. So this thing doesn't, has the firepower of a skyship, but it's obviously not a skyship.
Interesting.
And so he comes down and he lands a good ways away from the ship just because of all the activity that's going on the docks around it. So, and he puts the cart down and he says, "All right, so you got about an hour and a half left." He's like, "What do you need? You want me to stick around for an hour and a half? You guys gonna be right back?" And Marcus kind of looks at you guys and he says, "I tell you what." He says, "Take the hour and a half off. I'll give them back any extra coin." And he's like, because the guy's like going, "All right," and he's like, goes to get his coin box so he can count out the rest of the money back. And the guy's like, "No, just take it as a tip. I'll pay them back." And the guy kind of looks at you guys and says, "You guys hired me. Is that good?"
We appreciate your diligence and sleeping in your cab overnight. Go get some rest.
Indeed.
Like, appreciated, and thanks for the coffee. He's like, and the breakfast. He's like, "Hope to see you guys again soon. You're good customers." And he like, the ship is like, yeah.
What is your name, sir?
He's like, "Oh, me? Miguel."
Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a specific way to contact you if we need a cab in the future?
Yeah. You guys paid for the entire day, and you didn't mind me sleeping in the cab, so I'm gonna splurge a little bit. And he reaches into the coin box, and you can see he pulls out a little wooden case, and he opens it up, and he pulls out a very thin copper coin. And he says, "One use only." He pulls it out. Whoever takes it. He's like, "Put it somewhere safe. Probably your coin purse is best." He says, "If you need a cab and you want it to be me," he says, "snap the coin." He says, "and it will lead me to you, and I will be able to indicate how long it'll take me to get there." He's like, "But it is a single use. If you use it and I can't get there in time," he says, then you're not going to be charged anything like that. But,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I will pocket that coin as well.
All right. So Marcus kind of like is standing there with the dwarf, and he looks at you all and he says, "Well, I think you've taken him as far as you can take him." And Eric kind of looks over at all of you, and Marcus says, "It's been interesting." He says, "But you still haven't told me. What do you want? You did the job. Now you get paid. That's how it works."
I think. Are we? And this is out of character now.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the favor as opposed to the money?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, if we need money, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the favor and my armor is already being completed, so that I don't have to worry about. But the favor, at the very least, we have a contact here that can potentially help us in the time of need because we helped them.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on it.
Cool. I will look to Marcus and smile and say, "I believe the marker will be our payment."
He says, "Who will bear the mark?"
I will.
He says, "Noble gesture." He says, he comes walking up to you and he says, "Visible, invisible?" Or visible or hidden, I should say.
Hidden.
He says, "Open your shirt."
Ooh.
I unbutton my shirt.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of says, "You button your shirt," and he pulls out what looks to be a wand that, instead of being solid wood, it's solid wood all the way through, but it ends in what looks to be a small silver blade. And he produces this almost from nowhere. And he says, "You shall bear the sigil. It will mark you as one who we owe a debt to." He says, "Should you wish to call in the marker, you will merely need to speak my name while holding your hand on the sigil."
Okay.
He says, "If you're in the presence of anyone within the Emerald, or who works for the Emerald, or you even suspect works for the Emerald, displaying the sigil will mark you as someone who is under the protection of the Emerald. So you will be able to utilize this in places you may suss out have allegiances with us. Always know this. It marks you, and members of the other syndicates will recognize it."
Fair enough.
So, he kind of reaches over and, your shirt, you unbutton your shirt, but you didn't really untuck it. So,
I untuck it and I expose the skin.
Okay. So he literally grabs your arm. Well, he grabs your shirt and then he grabs your arm and he lifts your arm up, and just below your armpit, right here, you feel the blade just slide in like nothing. Okay. And then he begins murmuring something. You really can't concentrate on what it is because he's cutting you.
Yep.
And as he murmurs, you see the rest of you see that the silver blade just goes from silver to white. And the blade, as it's going along his skin, the metal is melting into his flesh and creating lines in his skin. And he basically designs out what looks to be a multifaceted gemstone, and it's about 2 inches by 2 inches. And when he finishes, it is completely healed. There's no redness, there's no irritation, there's no swelling that should be there from someone having burned something into someone else's skin. And as Val kind of like grabs looks under there and everything like that, it moves with his skin. It shifts with his skin as he like lifts and moves his arm. You can see the muscles rippling under the skin, moving it along. It's not hard like metal should be.
Val, are you
Oh, the
okay?
tattoo.
He's like, no, it's a sigil. He's like, if you need me to explain what a sigil is.
No, that's I went to Bardic College. I know.
He says, he kind of nods and looks at you and he says, that's not always the case, but
Fair enough.
he says, so what I'm saying is, you need to remember that you're marked. Don't let that be readily seen or available to others. He says, the rest of you, if you have a need, you may either ask him to call me, or if he is incapacitated, the rest of you are covered by the sigil itself. He says, only one of you need to be marked. But if any of you lay your hand on the sigil and say my name, it'll be the same. So if he dies, just cut that area out and take it
Oh
with
my god.
you. He's like completely serious.
Oh, yeah. Grandpa just kind of nods.
Maudlin, but makes sense.
He says, but I'm absolutely sure he won't die. He says,
And I look at him and nod. We're appreciative.
says, very well. And he says, in that case, I think all of our business is done.
Actually, with regards to Frank and the armor that is owed us as well,
Yes.
is that completed, and where can we pick that up?
That was between you and Frank.
Then we need to find Frank.
He's like, oh, and I just let your cab go. I apologize. He's like, ah! And he goes, and he kind of like reaches in his pocket, and he like brings out a coin, and you see it looks very similar to the slim copper piece you have. And he like cracks it.
How far away are we from that market? Because if we're already at
all
the
the
lower
way
docks,
across town.
okay.
Like hours of walking. Or like, yeah, even hours by a regular coach. And plus, you're not up where the top of the cliff is. You're down at the bottom, so you'd have to take a lift all the way up to the top of the cliff and then
go
find a
across
ride.
town.
Okay.
So it is a long way. But yeah, he snaps a coin, and he says, and he basically says, it should be here in a couple of minutes. He holds out the coin, hand him this. He'll take you anywhere you want to go.
Thank you. And I hand it to Grandpa to hold on to while I button my shirt back up
Gotcha.
and tuck everything back in.
And he kind of looks at all of you and he says, "Are you going to be in town long?"
Indeed.
Don't know.
We, at the very least, I do not think in a day that armor would have been completed. He originally said it would take him 7.
Yeah.
We should probably take the little one back home for her punishment, so to speak.
Oh, true. True.
And he says,
Before
we have
it gets any worse. So if
he stops and he says, "Now, Miss Astor, you can be kidnapped."
I already was once, and I.
Oh, are you gonna pay us for kidnapping her?
Oh.
No, you didn't say you were going to kidnap her. You have
We
to agree
succeeded
to
in
things.
kidnapping her.
I know, but you have to agree to things, because then we have to set a
actually make the
price. And,
agreement.
huh?
we didn't actually make the agreement, Groundhog. It's
Yes.
it's fair.
Now,
Fine.
he's like, now, if you want to say you kidnapped her now, we can just, draft up a quick ransom letter to send to the house.
Utopia, how do you feel about this? Could be some extra
Well-
coin in it for you as well.
Well, you know what? Considering my father agreed to have me married off without telling me.
Oh, wait, you're getting married off?
Why?
Oh.
Because now we have 2 families to ransom you to.
Oh.
He's like, yeah.
I'm usually not into this, but
I think a kidnapping is in order here.
So shall we throw her over our shoulder and head down to the
He says, we've got enough on our boat right now. He says, he kind of gestures to Eric. He's like, I think I've got quite enough on my hands.
Oh, and be careful with him, because at one point a demon crawled out of his jacket
He's
and
like,
then ran away. So be
okay.
cautious.
And
Yeah,
Eric,
keep them in well-lit
yeah,
areas, please.
Eric says,
Yeah.
yes, please. He's like, tie me to the mast on the deck.
That does not save you in the night.
He's like, we can hang lanterns. I don't know. We'll do something.
You'll think of something. You're a smart guy.
Marcus says, interesting. Well, I think that will conclude our business for now. If you're in town for the next several days, he says, I could call on you again. You've been proven to be very, very useful and very ambitious, and I appreciate both. He says, I don't know, and he kind of looks at Eric. He's like, I don't know what you all talked about or agreed to. This is, but it is definitely not the outcome I expected, and I actually find that refreshing. He's like, I've never had associates that I would actually consider upstanding. It's.
There is more than one way to skin a cat.
He's like, yes, you have your paring knife, you have your herringbone blade. He said you have your, standard Skinner, but that's a little bit grotesque because of the small body and the giant knife. Oh, you're being facetious. I'm sorry.
No,
Metaphor.
it's
It was a
six.
metaphor.
There are 6 ways. You missed 3.
Well, I wasn't done yet. But anyway, so with your set of skills, you could make a lot of money in this town. It says you are protected by the emerald, but you could be associated with the emerald.
Your offer is kind, and it is very generous, but we are already on, for lack of a better term, a sacred quest.
You just kidnapped a man and brought him.
Yes, all of that was
Yeah.
kind of. We didn't intend to get embroiled in that, but we did, and so we kind of went with the flow there.
When the cat shows up, you skin it.
As my friend said,
Oh my god.
I don't know that I could have been any more eloquent than that.
Oh my god! All right, so
That's going down as a quote from tonight's show.
pretty much.
Okay,
Oh my
you skin it.
Oh my god.
But it's a beautiful play on the fact that there's multiple ways to skin the cat.
Oh my
Like-
god.
Okay, everything in me to not say 6 ways immediately after you said it.
It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Oh my god.
All right, so he says,
If you need us, send for me at the Astor Estate.
at the
Don't-
Astor Estate?
Yes, that's
You
where we're
have
going.
your methods of subtlety to send a message. That is where we will be.
Oh, no.
Because that is where that one belongs.
Okay,
I don't know that she belongs there. I mean,
It is our home.
According to my father, I belong in the mountains now.
according to you, where do you want to belong, young lady?
Look, that's a conversation for you all.
That's fair.
You
I'm
have
going
a
to
good
get
day,
him
Marcus.
Secured.
And Grandpa just starts walking away.
I
The coin, so everybody has to follow me. Because I have the fucking coin.
I extend my hand, like, very graciously. Thank you for holding up your end of the bargain. Should we have need of you, we'll definitely be in touch, and vice versa.
And I will definitely have a price.
Of course you will. I would
Unless, of course,
expect
you want to
nothing
burn
else.
that favor.
And please
Well-
keep Eric safe.
He's like, if what Eric says is true, and if what you have told me is true, I think Eric will be one of the safest among us.
And I turn to Eric. I clasp him on the shoulder. Good luck, Eric.
He kind of looks at you and he says, yeah, it is, the life.
Indeed. Make of it what you can.
And he says, and he kind of leans in near you and he says, be sure you make sure Grandpa takes it to the right bank.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll understand. And he kind of like leans away, and Marcus kind of looks at you both, and he's like, okay. He says, anyway, let's go ahead and get you something to eat, Eric. And he kind of like grabs Eric and starts walking with him, and the dwarf falls in line behind them, and they go walking up to the gangplank of the ship.
Okay. Well, I will go and walk towards Grandpa.
Let's go, Renee!
I guess we're going somewhere.
Okay.
I assume you're going back to the Astor Estate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So, you crack the coin.
I thought he already did.
cracked
He already
the coin.
did.
All right, okay, I gotcha. So,
It's cracked, and I'm holding the pieces
Gotcha.
as I'm walking away.
Gotcha. So as you're walking away, a cab comes down. This cab is much nicer than the one you originally got. It is well decorated. It is got a actual enclosed area. Excuse me. For the passengers, and it looks like it could basically even fly in rain because their passengers will be completely sealed in with the curtains and everything that drape over it. The gentleman who is piloting the cab is in a little dome on the front of the cab that looks like it's made with pieces of glass laid into actual metal frames. And so as he lands, he kind of just like pops a little window on the side of the glass, and he says, "Call for a cab."
Yes.
He's like, "You got one destination in this. Where would you like to go?"
The Astor Estate.
He's like, "Very well." And he reaches down and he like pulls a little lever on the right hand side, and the door in the back of the cab pops open.
Ooh.
All right. And I gesture to Utopia. After you, young lady.
Thank you.
Hey, Shugosh.
Mhm.
Fix this, and I'm going to hold the coin up to him.
I will try mending. on the
It does
coin.
not work.
Ah.
Oh no,
Hey.
I'm sorry. The coin mends.
But
so
it doesn't have the spell in it anymore.
you don't know.
basically.
Yeah, you don't know
Yeah, we
unless you use
wouldn't.
the tech magic.
So I'm basically just after it's mended, gonna hand it back to him like, you could probably use this again.
he kinda like he takes it from you and he's like, sure. I don't know how to cast any spells, but he puts it in his pocket. He puts it in his
You
inside pocket.
obviously have somebody who made those for you, correct?
Oh yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Another slug. Thank you. He's like, and so you guys pile in. He takes off, and he doesn't drive at the frantic pace the other driver does. He actually takes off in a gentle arc slope. He goes gently up the cliff, banks back over the air docks, and you can see all the ships pulled in there, all the activity on the port. He actually goes pretty high up over the city, and you can see as the fingers flayed out, you can see that the city is bustling with activity in all areas, because it's kind of like pretty much the height of the morning now. It's almost afternoon, actually. And so the city is in full work mode. Even at this height, you can hear the activity in the town, in the city. It's just this cacophony that's always present. You guys are flying down into the Palm, which is the heart of the residential area, and you go down, fly over to the Astor mansion, chateau, the Astor Chateau, and you pull in, and he lands outside the gate because it's respectful. He lands outside the gate, and he kind of like. And the sky car gently touches to the ground, barely a jostle, and he says, "All right, we're here." And that the door on the side of the car that the gates are on pops open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are
Thank you
very
very
welcome.
And I tip him a gold coin.
He's like he takes the gold coin. And he's like, "You're very welcome."
I'm gonna walk up to the guards at the gate and we brought her back.
The guards are like, "Thank you very much."
She's in one piece.
Yes, she is.
Hi.
I told you so.
The guard goes and kind of reaches out, and the other guard kind of like he's going to open the gate, and the other guard kind of looks at him and goes, "Don't you remember?" And the first guard's like, "Are you serious? He meant it."
I'm
And
gonna walk up and push the gate open.
Oh my god.
When you
Oh,
go to walk up, they cross they were holding halberds. They cross their halberds in front of you, and the other one snaps like to attention when that happens. When you try and step forward, and the one on the right was the guy who's going to open the door. The older one is the one on the left, and by older I mean he's in his 30s. The other guy's obviously in his 20s or late teens. And the older gentleman looks at you, and Utopia, you know him. His name is Frederick. He's been with the House Guard since he was the other guy's age. You know, he is next in line to take over the guard when the current guard master retires, and he is probably the highest ranking guard member who still actively takes guard duty at one of the gates. And he kind of looks at you, and he kind of like has this odd expression on his face, like he can't make up his mind what to say. And then finally he just goes rigid, and he holds onto his halberd tightly, and he says, "Lady Astor, your father has asked us to inform you that since you have chosen to leave the life of a vagabond, you now own everything upon you, and nothing more. When you have found your way and understand your place in the world and your duty to your family, you may return home."
And I turn to Utopia. You know, having never met the man, I didn't like him very much. Now I like him less. Let's go. And I just start walking off. Like, I'm pissed.
I just put my hand on Utopia and just stand there.
Did he show back up or something?
You asking one of the guards, or
Yes.
he's like, and the younger one he kind of like almost out of the side of his mouth. He goes, "He came back home yesterday."
He's home.
So in the 6 hours that we've been gone, he has come back from a 3-day trip.
No, he canceled the rest of the trip.
Why can't he tell me this to my face? He's not. No. He isn't having you say this. Where is he?
And both of them kind of look at you and they go,
I turn around and go and walk back towards them. It's kind of like, okay, fine. I guess we're doing this.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
the older guard, Frederick, he kind of looks at you and he says, "Miss, as of this moment, you are not a member of this household, and therefore not privy to the goings-on within. I am very sorry to have to been the one to have to tell you this. None of us wanted this." And the younger guy, who you know, his name is Joff, and he's basically, he looks at you, and for just 1 second he cracks. Now he's about your age, and he's one of those people that he joined the guard when he was like only 16. He wasn't even really an active member. He was more kind of like he handled their horses and maintained their armor until he was old enough to actually pledge to or to join the guard itself. And but he's known you for a number of years, and he kind of says, "I honestly didn't think he was serious. He just came in and he said, 'I'm sorry, miss,' but he said we're not to let you in until you're ready to apologize."
Apologize?
"I'm sorry, miss. That's what
Oh,
he told
boy.
us. I'm sorry, miss."
I could break these gates. You know I could.
"You know we'd be required to put ourselves between your hammer and the gate."
I put a hand on Utopia's other shoulder. I assume Aeon still has his hand on one of the shoulders.
Yep.
I know what this means for you. Or I have some idea. I know this is hard. You wanted your freedom anyway. And I can't speak for the orcs back there. But I feel fairly confident that I can speak for Aeom, and I look to you and please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think you have all the family you need here.
He's right.
We have a sacred task. And I roll my eyes as I say those words. We have a sacred task that we are now committed to. If you would have us as your family, I would be honored.
That's what I.
But that, and I'm not pointing at the guards, but I'm pointing towards the house. You do not need.
I guess I don't.
And you see that the younger man, he's still holding his proper pose and proper stance at the gate, but you can see that his eyes are very red. And the other gentleman, Frederick, he doesn't. Neither one of them look comfortable at all. And
I turn to the younger one, the one who clearly is tied in some way to Utopia, and I go, "Young man, what is your name?"
"This is Joff."
I reach my hand out, very, very, very cordially, very warmly. Joff, my name is Valestein O'Call. and if he takes my hand and as I'm offering it to him like very friendly,
Yeah, he takes it.
and I shake his hand and I tell him, I would like for you to pass on a message to her father from me. Please tell her father from her new family that he can eat an entire bag of dicks. And I mean that with full disrespect. And I say this with like the biggest smile on my face, with full disrespect.
I will do my best.
Oh my god.
And I say, I know you will. I clasp him on the shoulder. I kind of give the older one like a bit of a eyebrow raise,
Yeah.
and then I just kind of shake my head. I pat Utopia on the back, and I step back and just kind of wait for whatever comes next.
The two gate guards are just standing there. The situation gets more uncomfortable and awkward by the second.
Utopia, you coming?
Yes, and I don't think I'll be back. Ever. Not after this. I am not letting a coward rule my life. Absolutely not.
Good. Good for you.
That's one of
Now.
the strongest things I've ever seen, Utopia.
Now let's go kick some ass and save the world, shall we?
So we're walking away at this point.
Yeah.
We should probably tell the disappearing man that not to send for us here.
Yeah.
I don't think
Probably-
that would go very well.
Probably a good idea. Does anyone have message or sending? Because I don't.
You're muted,
You're
Rome.
muted, Rome.
Yeah, just fucking stupid. Are you sending to let him know to just message me?
Alright.
Since I'm assuming he has sending himself.
Yeah.
You see the reply back, and he says, "Understood. You're the point of contact. Remember, we may have work."
Does he have a place to stay?
I'm sure we can find an inn nearby.
Yeah. I'm not
I
gonna
would-
leave him for that.
Yeah, I would rather not go to him for that.
Yeah.
We have coin. We can figure that out ourselves. We have coin specifically for that now.
You make a valid point.
And on that note, it is 10. So I think that's a ouchy spot to stop.
The intrepid adventurers on their way to find an inn because Utopia just got kicked out of her house and her family at this point.
And it may be time to.
Her sorrows away.
I was gonna say it may be time to drink.
I
Have a
concur.
place for Shugosh.
I know, I'm there.
No,
All
we
right.
don't need to destroy the bar.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight for Kingdoms of Mist, where we've gone from telling really bad jokes in the beginning to crying at the end. So this has been a proper D&D game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Laughing through the tears.
So, remember, these people are amazing, they're creative, and they're all over the internet. We're going to go backwards because Milagros is feeling it right now, so we're going to let her get this over with. Milagros, sweetie, where can people find your creations on the world wide of webs?
I'm active on Twitch and TikTok, and I post updates about like my Twitch stuff on Twitter. Bro, this hurts.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh yes, I know.
Oh my god.
Yes, and this was just the first little wound.
Oh no. This hurts specifically because like my actual dad left like 8 months ago.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm
And so
sorry.
like I'm like, man, can't even have a fictional dad. Like
You've
God
got
damn.
2 dads now. What are you talking about? You got 2 whole dads now.
I got 5 dads right here.
Well, I mean,
Wait, I'm a brother.
I will say this: you wrote the backstory, and you basically, you got you come from a bad people.
Yeah.
Like, you really want that family?
No.
No, I'm just saying, you come from a bad people's. It wasn't probably going to work out very well.
No.
And it still probably won't.
Oh my god. That night ancestor is gonna be like, wait, bro, what'd you do? And she's like, fuck you, fuck you.
All of them.
Yeah.
Eat a bag of dicks.
Speaking of telling people to eat a bag of dicks, Sphinx!
I wrote
Where
that
the
down.
hell
Very
can
good.
people,
Very
where the hell can
important.
people find you on the interwebs, sir?
You can find me on TikTok as Circle DM. Everywhere else online as Sphinx Akasha. You can tune in to my podcast/streaming show on the Twitch channel ADH Adventures. I am everywhere, so just check out my link tree. You can see all the things as to where I am and what I do.
And you can find his link tree in chat right now. Give it a click. Go follow him for more information. And remember, this Friday or next Friday is your next show.
This Friday.
This Friday is he will be going live. So you can follow. You can come watch us. And do you have a VOD for that yet?
Yes, the VOD for our first episode is up on the ADH Adventures channel.
Okay, excellent. So you can find this VOD there. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription, Annie. We really appreciate it. So, also, if you want to, you can go and you can find our VOD in our link tree. I'm gonna throw that up right now, and you can actually check our shows out on YouTube because we upload them up there. And the reason I bring that up is since we also have a Friday night show, and this Friday night we're going to be doing the Lab Experiments in Gaming, which is a show that focuses on independent board game creators, especially marginalized board game creators and designers. And this week we may be finishing our playthrough of Fall of Magic with the designer of the game, Ross
Not
Campbell.
this week, next week.
Is it next week?
I'm pretty sure.
No, I thought it was this
Yeah,
Friday.
they had
Oh, I could be
last
wrong.
week, so you've
Alright.
got
Oh, no,
conversation
I've got
this
dinner
week.
conversations this
Yeah,
week.
dinner conversation.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. It's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It has been.
So long, it feels like 2 weeks.
So, but this week we're doing dinner conversations. You know what? I don't even have a topic. I have been so
Topic is
busy
gonna
with
be
work.
how to
It's
make
just
your players
dinner
cry.
conversations.
How to make your player cry.
How to make your players fucking cry.
Yep.
How to make your players think that this is the worst they're gonna cry.
No, I know it's not, but like, ouch, man. Father's Day's coming up too. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Now I feel super bad.
So
Hey,
you got a
you know,
new dad now. New dad.
At the
New
end
dad.
of the day, from my experience in D&D, now I'm kind of going off the deep end here. We create characters that are versions and visions and revisions of ourselves.
Oh,
Absolutely.
totally. That's
Yeah.
what characters are for.
As a way to tell our story without, most of the time, letting it directly impact us. Like, it could help you process shit. That's one of the reasons why D&D is fucking awesome. Grompog, or not Grompog, fucking Ushnots goes through that shit on a certain subject. So, we all bring into our characters that dimension and that aspect of ourselves, because that's not only a character flaw, but one of our personal flaws that we're having to deal with and contend with. And having people that, it's almost like a group fucking psychiatry session, while at the same time you get to frustrate Ray. Like, what more can you ask for?
No, you can't frustrate me. I have the sweetest taste right now. It's player tears.
Oh wow, thanks.
I thought
I
those were
no
salty.
effect
Our
on that
tears
one.
will
So.
All right. So also, since I was talking about the lab, you guys can find Rob on TikTok, where he is going to start doing some both cosplay and some sketch pieces.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Make them
Nice.
duettable.
Yeah, because I will duet the hell out of you, man.
Make them
I would love
duettable.
that. Yes. You're gonna have to run me through that, but I would absolutely love that.
We'll walk you through it. We'll walk you through it the first couple
Absolutely.
of times.
Awesome.
All right. And also, of course, you have the Dirty Boys. The Dirty Boys, and one of them's the birthday boy. You have Grandpak Sugash, better known as RJ and Rome.
Yeah, like I don't even know if I should be offended by that, sir.
What?
That's
I
like,
mean, it's,
are you guys
it's
the
one
new
of those.
Dirty Boys?
That caught me off guard.
I mean, is that really that bad? Like, I mean, you start that with start your streams with "What's up, assholes?"
No, motherfuckers, motherfuckers.
Motherfucker.
No, what's up, motherfucker?
Oh, okay, sorry.
And it's actually a moment of almost knighthood on the channel
Where'd
to
you
be
get that
addressed
title?
as motherfucker.
Yeah.
It is a title in our channel.
I love it. I love it.
Your highest
Yeah.
ever
It's stupid
Patreon.
because I just started doing it to people because I enjoy the reactions from streamers when I hop in and go, "Motherfucking Frank!" at the top of my lungs.
Yep.
And get a motherfucking RJ back to me. It brings a whole lot of fucking hype into the chat. So I literally do it for every single streamer that I stop into.
Nice.
It's my intro. But
if you want
tomorrow
to
on OA, motherfucking Frank is probably taking the morning off
I think
because
so.
he has to prepare to be invaded by me.
Yep.
But in the afternoon, he's got a collab with Spicy Wifey, who is both Twitch and Facebook. I don't know which platform she's going to be on tomorrow. But they will be playing more than likely Rogue Company. So watch them get their teeth kicked in and try and shoot people. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. No.
And then we will have D&D Sunday 7:30, and it will be fucking madness.
And that's PST.
Yes,
Oh yeah,
Pacific time.
that's gonna be a big bad fight, I think.
Yeah, I think we fight Grandar this week.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Ooh.
So
Our DM threw cows at us last week.
yeah,
Like
Literally
legit
cows.
attacked us with cows. Some animal at 9th level, 60 feet above us, and dropped cows on our fucking head.
it was painful. He literally
God.
killed all but 2 people. Me
Yeah, I didn't
and
die.
the rogue.
I did not die. Duck
You laugh
face
until
for the
you get hit by a
win.
cow. That's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah, basically,
yeah, it was bad. It was like what 174 damage or some shit.
which was just fucking stupid. Fucking stupid amount of damage. So we are
Okay.
going against, more than likely going against the gnome sorcerer's wizard mentor
Big bad evil.
who likes to genetically mutate people. So like our sorcerer is missing like part of his lung and part of his stomach and part of his heart because they've been replaced by this dark magic. So it's gonna be fucking interesting to see if he even survives
Yeah, we
after
might
we
lose
kill
the sorcerer.
Grandar. So definitely tune in for the fucking insanity this next week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Legit.
All right, guys. That is about enough from us tonight. We really thank everyone who watched tonight. We're going to be back.
Tired of us talking.
Yeah, we're going to get back in 1 week and continue this. Trust me, things are going to even get more chaotic as we start opening up the meta more. Now that we've kind of resolved the initial plot lines to get everyone associated, we're going to start to get into the badness. But
Oh, yeah.
in the meantime, to give us all a little bit of extra to go on, and because this is something we do, because as we said in the beginning of the show, we have to support each other.
Excuse me.
If you're a fan, give your streamers a follow, give them a like, let them know you appreciate what they're doing. It gives us such a boost, and like we said in the beginning, any of those things will help our metrics and help us get seen by more people. So do what you can. we're going to go give someone else a boost right now. We're going to raid the Adventure Archive because they are playing D&D, and I like their overlay because it looks like it's hand done. So we're going to go check them out. Yeah, it's nice. It's cool. And we're going to go check them out. And remember, at Dinner Game, we always save you a seat at the table. Tonight, that table was for Kingdoms of Mist. And then tomorrow night, that table is for City of Mist, where I'm going to make Milagros cry again.
Oh, come on!
Just drink a lot of water. Just drink
Drink a lot of water. Hydrate. That's all we're saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Get some rest. Drink your water. Take your meds. We love you. We will see you next time. Good night.
Good night.
And we should be clear.
Yep, we're clear.